Which is it on the levels?
Start streaming.
Or is it going out on Bev Try Thinking?
This is Try Thinking.
Try
Thinking live. And there we are.
Oh, there we go. Just got a notification.
And tell me how.
Levels.
Listen to my words very carefully.
Listen to me very carefully.
Don't debate something that is or is not objectively true.
I have done personal calculations in the military, well, for fuel consumption, that only work when we're on a sphere.
If you want to get into it, the Earth isn't quite a sphere. It's a little bleh. Its spin is a little bleh, stretched it, made it slightly oblate. It's a little
that's
bleh.
good.
Yeah, it's still a sphere, though.
It's round. It's a little okay, now let's see. How do we go about that?
There has to be bendy water. You know, there just has to be.
We have measurements showing what the actual geometry of the bridge is.
I thought it was done on a per app basis, but it's an all or nothing basis.
Well, math is kryptonite to flurfs.
In non-Euclidean geometry, straight lines can curve.
Bam! Water levels give you horizontal.
Those are fighting words.
So people have known that the Earth is spherical for thousands of years. You know, everything else we take a picture of is a sphere.
I didn't need to do any experiments. You know, I just looked at photos.
This is all susceptible to analysis.
But could the Earth be a disk? Could it be flat, but it's actually still shaped like a disk, not like a sphere?
It's all about attacking the globe.
That's the whole point.
Well, there we go then. In a mathematical sense, a straight line can be curved.
And there it is from the side. You're not going to see curvature
the Earth is round.
from the side.
I'm using laws of math and physics to show Earth is flat.
It's not okay
Doubt the globe.
to think that the Earth is flat.
The St. Lawrence River has been the U.S. Geology Society has measured this river to be 8 meters higher at the mouth than at the source.
I don't really know what's going on right now.
Interesting that shape that you just showed us there, Jesse. Would you like to expound on that?
3 coplanar points. This shape right here?
Yeah.
It's not okay to say that the Earth is flat.
Bam! Water levels give you horizontal.
Well, it looks curved to me.
The surface is not curved, you twat.
Exactly. It's level.
It's
not curved.
It's not curved, you twat.
It's awesome. It is
It's an amazing
It is an amazing
piece of architecture, really. Yeah.
It is. The way I phrase it is 3 coplanar points to the curvature of the Earth.
It monument.
It's a man-made monument. It really is.
I totally agree with that.
It really is.
It's not curved, you twat.
And we're looking in that direction, which looks that way. See how that looks? You're looking out 3 coplanar points. Okay. And so the curve drops away from the horizontal tangent downward like that. That's how it works.
Right.
3 coplanar points. I don't know why people can't understand that.
Not curved, you twat.
You know.
Seems pretty straightforward to me, Jesse.
A submarine car. I had to go underwater.
This is what the geometry actually is. We're talking about the actual shape of the Earth.
I nailed that.
This is what it should look like. This is what it feels like. This is what it looks like. And
correct.
They all agree with each other.
Weird. Doesn't seem to be a way to do it on the Mac.
So that intro went good, I hope.
Oh, which one?
It was all good on the YouTubes, I think.
Sweet. We are live, guys, now with the triggering. That was a intro. I don't know how long if people are still joining or how long it'll take. I've got another one, but I need to sort out so I can do it in the background. I don't know where Clary is. Clary's coming. Somebody put a shout out for him. I'm going to be going over how long it'll take. Shut up, me. Right. I'm going to be going over an old video of from Gem Pandas. But because we're launching the what do we call it, the 7, do we come up with a name for them yet? 7 undeniable reality.
Just like the actual factuals of geometry, isn't it? It's
the
things you can't change.
Geometry, reality, and the problems that people have with these things. So in order for me to, I don't think there's any visuals needed for this. So, but you guys need to hear it, don't you? So if I go on Discord, give you my video pad screen so you can come in, listen to the thing. It should go out onto the YouTube through my sound. They don't need to see the pictures on it. So if anybody wants to use the offing text for posting your images, that's where the images for YouTube will be coming out from, on the Discord offing text. And the sound's going to be coming from, it's only DP in. Rob, do you want to jump in the he's on YouTube.
Yeah, he's on YouTube.
Chucky's there as well. Click the link if you want to come
Chucky.
and join us here. Yeah, on the YouTubes.
Chucky.
Chunky.
Chunky butt boy.
Yeah, you can come in here, can't you?
Really?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think he can. Not sure. Got bored with him.
Right, so this is give you a backstory to it. We're going over the back to basics, right from the fundamentals of geometry, to give everyone an idea of how model believers struggle with these basics. They're much bigger brained people, and this is from right when I started asking questions about the geometry and working out how to do it, right? Because it was posed to me, the question, how to tell that level is horizontal, or how to sat on the Bedford Canal wondering why people are trying to measure and what they're trying to measure, whether they're trying to measure that the water is level, or that the laser was level, or what you were meant to be doing looking down it. Because I mean, it was just a fundamental understanding to me that the water level was level. Now that level means horizontal. It's just what I knew. So when I first started, this is when we're going to go back. Is everybody in here? Well, it's still only DP and Mobius. You want to come in? You won't be able to hear it unless you're on the live feed.
There we go.
Yeah, come and join the live feed, and yeah, there we go. 3 of us. Rob, you. I think you were at work, so you're listening in on the YouTube.
On the YouTubes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, right. So
keeping the trolls company, ain't you, Rob?
Trying to work a way how to do this. I'm sort of cutting videos, and I'm going to use this time and this sort of job that you lot can help us cut the video and everything. So it starts off. It's an old video. But it starts off with Scott Veach. Let us know if you can hear it loud enough in here, and then if there's anything you want to stop us, just stop us at the time. It'll start off pretty slow, but the basic is that I've gone in there and I've started recording after I asked the question. You know, like straight lines or something. You'll see. Did you hear what I said?
Point to the gravity vector, and that's going to mean it's going to be constantly changing too. So the line.
Is there any way you could turn it up a touch?
Parallel with the line that is level another spot.
Let me see. Scott Veach is really low at the time.
Low, yeah.
That's at 100% here now on the app, right? Really?
Yeah.
So it's that's how you bend straight lines.
I don't know if bending straight lines as much as just describing what the geometry of a gravity vector in a sphere looks like.
Yeah, but isn't that a horizontal that you just ended up bending?
Not a horizontal, I just call it curve.
Oh. But one of them's a vertical and it's perpendicular to a vertical, which...
Horizontal is planar.
That's horizontal though, isn't it?
No, it's the point. It's only the one point though that's used out of that line.
But the point is horizontal. That's not. No.
The points get together, right? You take only the point, which is the intersection between the gravity vector and the thing that's perpendicular to it, so the 90 degrees, right? They intersect at a point.
Right.
Point is going to be different for every.
Right. I'll have to pause that. Right. He speaks at 100 miles an hour.
That is awful to listen to. How on earth are you supposed to understand him?
The one thing that I caught was he said on a globe, and I think anytime they say blah 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 whatever on a globe, then it's not really an argument of facts. It's just a hypothetical.
A reification of a model.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this point thing is going to come very relevant.
Yeah.
Right? It's so early on.
That's the bit that I pulled out of it. He said all the points come together.
Yeah.
A horizontal point. Right. So this is why the first thing is like we have a straight line as being our first one of 7. Right. Straight line has no curvature. But in order for it to be a straight line, you need 2 points. Right.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, to join a straight line is just the shortest distance between the 2 extreme points of a line, and that makes it a straight line. So you need 2, and so for them to say 1 point horizontal is ridiculous, and it's not. It has no foundation within geometry because a point in geometry is that of which has no parts. It's a nothing, so you can't have a horizontal nothing. And yet, this is how Scott opens this argument, right? You'll find a lot of people do it.
Having a horizontal point.
Yeah. And then you join them all up together, and the gravity vector, and he uses a fair few fancy words and stuff, and they're all there to confuse you.
Even so, right? He's got a horizontal point, joins with another horizontal point, joins with another horizontal point. There's still one thing missing that they desperately need.
Mm-hmm. Some curvature somewhere.
Some curvature somewhere. So you've got X amount of horizontal points all joined together.
My favorite's an infinite amount of points.
Yeah. At every point at which it's perpendicular to a vertical, right? Sounds like a horizontal line to me, you know. Just divided up into loads of little bits. But I mean, this is so early on. I'll have to carry it on, right? But you get the gist of where this is going.
Every single gravity vector.
This isn't Euclidean geometry though you're doing here. What is this?
Who cares whether it is or isn't? And those points together can represent the surface of the Earth.
Did you hear that? It's very who cares whether it isn't. That was like I said. You're not using Euclidean geometry, and he says, "Who cares whether it is or it isn't?" Geometry though you're doing here.
Yeah.
What is this?
Who cares whether it is or isn't? And those points together.
Who cares what it is and isn't?
And whether you want to call that curved or whatever you want to call it doesn't really much matter. But it looks like a circle.
Whether it's curved, it doesn't really much matter what you want to call it.
Yeah, listen, right. This is we'll have to go back, right? Because this is the horizontal waffle bullshit, right? Complete and utter waffle.
No. The points get together, right? You take only the point, which is the intersection between the gravity vector and the thing that's perpendicular to it, so the 90 degrees, right? They intersect at a point.
Right.
Point is going to be different for every single gravity vector.
Right? This isn't Euclidean geometry though you're doing here. What is this?
Who cares whether it is or isn't? And those points together can represent the surface of the Earth. And whether you want to call that curved or whatever you want to call it doesn't really much matter. But it looks like a circle.
But the horizontal looks like right. Get a load of points together, and who cares what sort of geometry it is or isn't? But it's a circle, And you can call it curved or whatever, but hey, right? Anybody that's took in by any of that sort of waffle, it must be crazy. You sit there and listen to it. It carries on.
I don't know why you keep calling it that, but I'm telling you.
I'm just talking about reality, Scott.
Yeah, so am I. I don't know why you're talking about things like horizontal.
You keep going to a circle. Like the vertical...
Yeah, the gravity vector.
And the horizontal are perpendicular to each other. They're level.
What level? I'm saying there's a line that's perpendicular to the gravity vector and intersects at a point.
I just popped in to find out which model you subscribe to with your level.
And I'm just asking you whether you agree with that or not.
If I agree with what? The asking you thingy, or you going on waffling on about bending horizontal lines around a circle?
Why do you keep saying horizontal? Why do you keep saying horizontal?
Because level is horizontal. That's what I'm here to prove, Scott.
Well, how are you going to prove that?
I've already done it geometrically with Euclidean geometry. I am now doing my water level proof. Right, when I said that, it was an earlier geometric proof. Obviously, there's thousands of them. It's dead easy to prove stuff that's true with geometry. Especially it's around straight lines and things. It's dead easy. But I mean, it's developed since then. We've added loads more geometric proofs. So anybody want to know any of them, you can welcome to come round. But I may give a hint of one of them in here. And I'm coming to ask you which model.
Isn't it definitional though?
What definitional?
Of these words, right?
A water level? No, a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal line. I'll put the model back in. I'm only here to try and find the model.
Bad. Why are you over talking me and ignoring what I'm saying? That's kind of...
Well, I'm going to be gone in a minute. Like I say, I've only dropped in for a quick.
So then it's better if you focus on the question.
I'm going to model my water level proof.
Well, look, if you're going to keep over talking me, it's just going to become pointless.
I'll put this in the chat so people can see it. This is the model that I'm talking about.
There's no good answer for that.
There's no?
That looks familiar.
The word horizontal is a question of definition.
This is
right?
early hump and
Is it?
nutsack drop, bizzling hump. No, I want to talk about the real life practical use of a water level. That's what I'm talking about.
You said that you proved that level is the same thing as horizontal.
Yes.
These are 2 words. So these are 2 words. So we're talking about the definitions of these words, aren't we?
No, level is the practical use of the word horizontal. Right, now you'll notice here that they try and get me on the definitional use of the word all the time. Well, this is before they say that. Right, this is Scott laying the foundations for them to say the definitional use of a word. Scott's doing it now and trying to get me to define the word when it's really easy to define. Level is horizontal, that's how you say it. So you define it. Listen to how he goes here.
So aren't you telling me about the definition of the word level then?
Is that good for you in the YouTubes? Can you all hear it? I understand that you think level bends. Does it? Or is it a straight line? Tell me, Scott.
I can't keep track of which one's supposed to be which, but I understand the concept. The thing being level compared to, say, a gravity vector versus something being straight in a planar, in a 2-dimensional plane.
Right. I'm going to have to go back over that again, right? Just say, is level straight or curved? It's a pretty simple question to ask anybody. Mm-hmm. Just try and make sense of whatever comes out of his mouth, right?
I can't keep track of which one's supposed to be which, but I understand the concept. The thing being level compared to, say, a gravity vector versus something being straight in a planar, in a 2-dimensional plane.
Right, okay, so you basically don't have an understanding of level then. He's just stringing a load of words together that mean nothing. And I don't think he understands it.
So he was saying that one applies to a two-dimensional plane, and the other applies to a curved.
Yeah, that's
a curved surface.
It's weird because he hasn't worked the geometry out of his curved surface, has he? Because it's a gravity vector, which is obviously vertical, plumb bob, and it's perpendicular to it, like the surface.
To that.
Yeah, he says that.
Yeah, so even though he's putting the curved surface in there and stating the other one only applies to a planar surface, he's actually describing two perpendiculars.
Yeah, he's talking about
one
a
on a
two-dimensional flat surface and another one on a perceived flat surface that's a two-dimensional plane. The curves in geometry, right? This is the birth of where Imagineometry comes from, because I don't think they know what they're talking about. I mean, they've definitely not upped the game. I mean, this is months ago. Carry on.
I don't agree that they're the same thing, so I don't remember which one's supposed to be which. I always have to ask her which one, because I never think.
This is. He has to ask curved, right?
Does anybody else
First
understand
reference to curved.
what level is, or do you think it's?
It doesn't really work like that. You can't just dismiss like that.
What?
The question for you is that how, in what way are you not talking about definitions? Can you not have an answer to that? I mean, it seems like it would be trivial.
What, the water level?
So
you came in here, you said.
So he can't.
Horizontal, and I said, well,
yeah, this.
I'll pause it.
He can't tell you the difference between level and horizontal, and then he accuses you of playing a semantics game.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty semantical, right? Him using words to play games, right? But his words that he uses are just confusing. It's not even an argument. It's not even a coherent argument, is there? Being put forward. They're just, I don't know. It's confusion. They're never getting across a point of coming out with a counter. They're just saying, no, it's
words.
not. And then sort of agreeing with the words that they use. They're saying the same thing, just not understanding the words they're using. It's fantastic. And Jimbo's Meds in the chat says the playback's a little low, and I don't know how to lift the volume up.
Yeah, you'll have to bear with it, Jimbo. It's just a really low
Bev,
volume
can you turn it
recording.
up? Are you able to turn it up in OBS?
I don't think so. No, I'm not. I'm not messing about with sounds in the OBS. I could possibly. But then it'll probably come through a bit loud.
Yeah, cause unless your volume slider's maxed, then you should go and turn it up.
Amplify. See, I can add a bit more gain. Try that. Watch out our end.
That's a statement I've been making for 6 months.
Let me just finish. And I said, this is semantics. This is about the definition. You've
How's
been
that
saying
on
ever
the
since I said
YouTube
that.
a little bit?
No, not definition. It's not about that. And I fail yet to see how it's not about the definitions.
You see. You say it's just semantics, but certain people have called me child abuser for what you call semantics.
Who's called you a child abuser? That's horrible.
Like the flat Earth, Cosmo.
Well,
he did it in this server.
That's
to my face, he said, and then after I left, you all talked about it.
Flight of Flat Earth has never been here as far as I know.
No, Cosmo.
Cosmonaut?
Yeah.
I never saw him do that. I wasn't here for that. That was when you guys had your debate. He called you a child abuser?
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of the main culprits. So.
Because of why? Because you have a different definition for the word level?
Because I said level is a straight line on a horizontal plane, and they all get triggered. A bit like you.
Well, that's far too. Well, that's far. Look, I'm never going to call you a child abuser for that. That's crazy talk. Why did you keep? I mean, like that should just be the end of a conversation. I think. Like that should not be accepted, right? Like no one should be calling anyone child abuser or stuff like that.
Brilliant. Thank you.
He got banned from Twitter for it as well.
Yeah, it's not a good. It's just not a good thing.
Yeah,
to do.
Fight the Flat
It's not a
Earth
good
got
thing for
banned
your
from Twitter.
team.
Cosmo got banned
So
from Twitter.
all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to clear my name by proving that a fact is a fact and that level is horizontal.
Well, okay, you can do that, but you should know though that you don't need to clear your name on being a child abuser because nobody.
I do because they carry you. You should see him on Twitter. Cosmo's still going. He's still in here.
Well, I'm going to talk about it in here.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test.
So, can we have do you have? Does level bend?
Sure. Yes. So it's in construction. So I'm going to tell you. You need to get the level. You need to call it the level.
Reckoner.
Bubble. And if it's not in the middle, it's not going to be level.
No, that you're thinking of a spirit level.
What is he saying?
Yeah, you're not understanding.
He used to think he was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this was his
water level.
Sure.
I've been here the other day. Cosmo sorted it out. He's got guys to measure curvature.
Sure. See if you used to red.
Yeah, there's loads of people that have told us that they have people that can measure curvature. Cosmo being one of them. In fact, Cosmo's the only one that's actually said that they can measure curvature. The other ones just say plumb lines not being plumb.
Didn't Kosho say he's measured curvature?
Oh, I don't know. I don't
I'm
think
sure
so.
of.
He might have
No?
said something around that, but I mean, no. Cosmo's the only one that said he's measured curvature, as far as I know. There's a guy from Maine, supposedly, that said
can't
he can
set up his tools.
Yeah, he can't. He doesn't know how to set up his tools, but he claims he's measured plumb lines not being plumb. No, parallel, but that means they're not plumb. So I don't know what that means. And he's got.
And wasn't there a couple of three guys that did something with Jupiter that they reckoned?
Mo.
They looked at.
Oh, Larry. I don't know. But it'll come back to us. So this is Reckoner, and there's multiple tactics of distraction and obfuscation that go on when you go into these servers. So you go in asking them a question to try and work out. I mean, remember, I'm still trying to work out which model that they're trying to go with. I'm just trying to find out how many people go with each model, A or B, and
Of this level.
we're not getting very far,
Or is
as
it
you can
decide?
see.
You can move it. You need to move it left to right, but there it's going to drop and respond.
Yeah.
So you need it in the middle. And if this is your preference, you can have square and you can have straight. This is how it works. Thank you.
Yeah. That didn't mean anything at all. I'm just not so sure you'll get very far with it.
It keeps doing it again.
You can have straight. You can have square. You can have level. Thank you.
Right. So I say that the water level's horizontal, and you say it's what?
Sure, but it doesn't matter.
Is it horizontal? Does a water level define a horizontal line of play?
It doesn't matter what you call it.
Sure. So it doesn't matter.
Excuse me, can I jump in here for a quick second?
Yeah, of course you can, man.
Hey,
you can.
hello. This is the man like Rob Keane.
Yeah, so anyways, can I just say something real quick here?
Yeah, man.
Who's Arnold Schwarzenegger?
That's Reckoner. Have you never heard of him?
No, he sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, this is when he's obviously, there's voice actors in this community. People that pretend to be many different people. Well, Reckoner's one of them.
Why can't you just be honest with who you are? Like, my name is only Deleted Potato Member because we're in the potato farm here. But my name's Rob Keane, okay? It's ridiculous. Like, why you gotta change your voice and be a retard?
I don't know.
Sorry, that's all I got.
It's all right. Keep an eye out for him. You'll hear him all over the place, though. It's fun.
There was one that sounded like the Rumpus in What was that?
No, man, I've been
Hozos?
here at least for 5 years. I've been here everywhere. And I never heard of this guy being Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No. Oh, he's big.
But he
about
sounds
a year.
funny.
It must be like a year ago at least. He made the rounds at Gem Pandas and 24/7. Yeah, reckon he's still around. I heard somebody talking about him the other day. I don't know whether he's still pretending to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or not. I don't know. Constance says you give her your regards.
Sorry to distract from what we were talking about, but I had to bring that up.
No worries, Rob. No worries. And of all the people to imitate, why would you choose Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Get to the chopper!
Get to the chopper! Get down!
Just a bit more. There we go.
Spoiling it, making it that doesn't matter. As long as it's in the middle, it's going to be level and it works. Doesn't matter what you call it because it's Santa Claus. Doesn't matter.
Because it's Santa Claus. That's not going to work for very long.
I'm sorry, but I can't listen to this.
Chat here, a water level, like the actual tool, water level.
How big is it?
What? Well, that's the question to you. It says it's a tool that defines a horizontal plane, right? It also says that it's more accurate over distance because it's lower tech than a laser level. It also says you don't need a line of sight for it. So you don't need to see the other end. So the question to you lot is, at what point does that water level stop making a horizontal? It's
a good question, that, right? Now, nobody's ever answered it. People keep saying, oh, yeah, short distance. That's too long a distance. But they never come up with any distance because they can't.
Yeah, notice how it got really quiet.
Yeah.
Let's see who's the first one to respond. That should be fun.
You reckon?
That's not a question.
There is no one point. It's a matter of precision.
Sure. So listen.
A matter of precision.
So you get the center of the core of the earth. So from up, you look anywhere. It is always going to be level from there. This is the reference. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. That didn't.
What?
Mean anything at all, did it? So
you can take my answer to the bank there. It's a matter of precision.
It's a matter of
precision.
What? Precision.
What did Curved say there?
Curve says you can take my answer to the bank. It's a matter of precision.
And how does that answer the question?
Doesn't, and you can take it to the bank.
Is he agreeing that it's more precise than a laser level?
I don't.
Over distance.
They just have to obfuscate, right? They can't give you an answer because it's going to be wrong because level is horizontal, obviously, provably so. This is.
But that's all they. That's all they ever do is obfuscate and duck.
Yeah, this
never get a straight answer.
The research we've found out is that a certain group of people can't face reality; they just get triggered by simple geometry. We're talking about a straight line at the minute, or whether it is a straight line or it's a curved line. We're just trying to have the discussion. What's going on? I mean, I know that they think it's a curved line. I've come with two models. Which one is the question? And they're having to obfuscate all of this.
I can't talk over this dribble, so Reckoner is done. I'll answer the question.
They argue that a snooker ball is completely level.
Reckoner, can you wait for a minute?
All the way around.
Can you let Curve finish his point there?
Sure.
Snooker. Hang on, stop it there, Bev. A snooker ball is completely level all the way round.
Yeah, that was.
Who said that?
I think that was Chemo. I think.
They argue that a snooker ball is completely level.
Reckoner, can you wait for a minute?
Yeah, but I mean, I have got a thing that Fight the Flat Earth said a cue ball's flat.
So we got a snooker ball is completely level all the way around, and a cue ball's flat.
Yeah, it's a two-dimensional surface, right? You know, fantastic geometry. It's imaginometry.
Sure. Go for it, curves. Go for it.
As I told you, your water level is going to do a good job of establishing horizontal locally over short distances. The greater the distance,
How
the
short?
more the inaccuracy of it being level at each end from the center point or from each other.
Yeah, exactly. Why I was asking which model. Did you get on? Do you get? I understand now. Wait. Look, I'll put it in again. A or B? Which model?
No, your A or B is severely lacking.
Why? Right, after all of
How
that
is it
time,
lacking?
right, we get him back to the model, right? It took us all of that time for me to say, I understand, curve. Just which model? Hump or drop? And then listen. This, I think this is where we actually get a bit of conversation going. This is why they don't want to give an answer, right? Because there is no answer. You'll hear.
You're going to need more than that. We need more reference.
What do you mean? You guys have given us the numbers, though, haven't you? You know, like, you do have numbers, don't you?
What do the lines represent?
The surface of the water in your imagination.
The surface of the water.
Yes.
Right. Where is up and down?
What do you mean? Like, can you see the guy that stood at the end, the one crying? That'll give you your reference for up and down, won't it?
The tears are in the gravity vector.
Yeah. Trees are dropping down.
A is out.
Look, A's
Water
out.
doesn't do that.
Water doesn't do that. So not A.
B is closer.
Okay.
Scales really massively off.
Yeah, but you're going with the constant drop B. That's all I was after. Thank you very much. Scale is really off.
Massively off.
So he says, Curve just says there, right? At that point, Curve says, B is right, A's wrong because water just doesn't do that. I.e., it doesn't hump. It doesn't go in the upwards direction, whereas...
But the scale could be right, though.
B is good, right? But the scale's wrong. So the water going downwards while staying level is okay. But humping is a no-no. To curved.
Mm-hmm.
Just to curved.
You just said humping is a no-no.
Yeah, to curved. Like, you know.
Yeah.
They teach you that in grade school, right?
Yeah.
Stop doing
I'm
that.
going to model
Population
this.
control.
Here we go.
Well, okay, so
Anyone else?
Yes. So you can
What have
explain.
you done, Bev?
Sure. Hang on a
What have
second.
you done with the? Hang on, Reckon. What have you done, Bev, with the water level? How far have you taken a water level? What's the longest water level you've done?
27 miles I've got.
With the water level?
Yeah.
27-mile long water level?
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
What a tube. You got a tube 27 miles.
Wow, it's like a big trench.
So you didn't do it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been working on this for 6 months. Yeah, it just so happens that I live in a place called the West Lancashire Coastal Plain, and we have the start of the Leeds to Liverpool Canal, and it goes 27 miles without locks.
Well, how are you gonna?
I've been working on this for 6 months.
It's water level. That's what I mean.
Digging a trench and filling it with water.
Been on a
27
mission
miles
to get
long.
my proofs that the water level is horizontal. It's not hard. It's reality.
Presuppose that it'll do that.
No.
You presuppose it'll do that, then you've got a lock and you've proved it to yourself.
No, I've already done a Euclid. Listen, like, he's just said that me has presupposed that the water level is horizontal. That's me presupposing it. With proof and geometric proof and backing of it and all that. And he's the one that's telling me that
You're the one with the presupposition.
Stuff. Yeah.
Be
Euclidean geometry
honest.
proof.
How do you know the water's level? How do you know it's level from point A to point B?
But, how do you know it? Do you want it? What do you want? The geometric one or the water level one? I'm still working on the water level one, but the geometric one. You want that?
Sure.
Right. Water level is horizontal, right? So you've just find a stretch of water above a mile long. Drop a
Just made a presupposition then.
drop a plumb bob, like a reality tool, over the level.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? One of them's
Using our definition of level.
Yeah.
So here's the thing to say.
Horizontal.
So here's the story. So you're standing, you know where in California, wherever, and you go to level, and you make sure.
Yeah.
You know this level.
Everybody's like, shut
You know
up.
the bubble. You know the talking. You moron.
Yeah, that doesn't work, reckon all that. I don't know what sort of.
Quit with the bubbles, reckon all.
Quit with the what?
Quit with the bubbles, reckon all.
Bubbles.
Sorry?
How did you determine that the water level was planar straight in the stretch?
Because water level is horizontal. It's a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, isn't it?
So it is a presupposition. It is an assumption that you're making at the beginning.
Well, right. He says that's an assumption to say that the water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. That's an assumption that you make. So when you get a tool called a level and it's establishing a horizontal, that's just an assumption. Right?
An assumption.
Yeah,
even though that's what the tool does.
Yeah, and it gets calibrated and all that sort of shit. You know, like it's just an assumption. So, yeah, when you go and talk to these people about things, right, just be aware that if you're talking about reality, then using certain reality words don't work. It's just an assumption that you're making.
I mean, don't water levels come like calibrated right out of the box?
Well, yeah, they sort of don't need calibrating, although R.C. Meister says he's got a tool for calibrating water levels for some reason.
Calibrating water levels. That's, wow.
So, yeah, they establish a level. Like, the question is that level horizontal? There's no question in the fact that they establish a level. These people don't like horizontal being that level, which it's only 2 points. I mean, it's a straight line, isn't it? If it's got no slope to it, downward at either end, then that's horizontal because it's perpendicular to the plumb bob. I mean, you really have to deny some basic stuff when talking to people around these areas. I mean, this man that we're talking to here has an astronaut for a father. So he'd obviously know a lot more about geometry and reality and surveying techniques and all of that. I mean, why wouldn't he, right? He's been sat in Gem Panda's Discord server for over 5 years. Carry on. I mean, like, you could call it that as an assumption, couldn't you? But I mean, like, I've been taught that, and have you not? Or are you just making stuff up now?
No, I haven't been taught that, but I guess I was asking, how did you prove it was that?
But level isn't horizontal. You've been taught that level is not horizontal, have you?
I was asking, how did you prove it was planar straight?
Who taught you that level wasn't horizontal?
I was asking, how did you prove it was planar straight? And your answer was that because it is, basically.
Water level, yeah. Like
so it wasn't really that isn't really a proof of why it's planar straight, though, because it's just you assume.
You can prove it through geometry, right? 3 points on a plane, that establishes a plane. It's easy, but a water level would establish a plane. Just because you can add in a point anywhere and move it around at any point, and it would establish a plane reference. I mean, anybody with any knowledge of it would know that. Same as an auto level, right? You set up an auto level in the central position, and you can turn that around 360 degrees. Well, that doesn't establish a line, it establishes a plane surface. The horizontal is a plane surface. How many points does it take for an auto level to establish the plane of sight? Well, just the one, right in the middle. It's not too, it's so... basic geometry, right? The horizontal is a plane and the vertical is a line. And they're perpendicular to each other. No. The proof, I've got a geometric proof, and then I've got a water level tool proof that I'm just drawing up. I'll come back to it. The geometric proof is, you know how vertical and horizontal work?
Sure. No.
Right. So a vertical is a plumb bob in reality.
Oh, okay.
And a level is a horizontal in reality, isn't it?
Okay, sure.
So if you drop a plumb bob over a level, they are 90 degrees perpendicular to each other, aren't they?
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you find a long stretch of water, you go to one end of it, and you drop a plumb bob to the water. Mm-hmm. Then that's 90 degrees perpendicular to the level underneath, isn't it?
Well, how can you tell the difference between true 90 degrees?
No, it's just isn't it? If it's not 90 degrees, what is it, Scott?
Well, I'm saying, how can you tell the difference between truly 90 degrees and say something that was a very, 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 very large curve, so that it appears to be say 89.9999999.
So, you see what he's saying there? How do you know the difference between something that is or isn't? Well, what's it called? That 90 degree angle? It's called a right angle. Because if it's not right, it's wrong. It's a right line. Two right lines perpendicularly to each other make a right angle.
Also, he's also saying that the contrary to that is indiscernible, right? It's like 999.99999 whatever percent.
Yeah.
He said, like, unable to discern it. So,
do you know what
he's setting obvious up? Or is it not obvious?
Do you know what he's trying to set up? He's trying to set up the scale argument. Right, you don't understand scale, so you wouldn't notice a curve. So therefore, a straight line can have a curve, and you wouldn't know it would still be a straight line. But again, first one, axiom 1, right? A straight line has no curvature. So if it's not a right angle, it's not perpendicular. And it's not whatever it is he's saying. That, I mean, the simple answer is it's just not that. So yeah, I think he's trying to set up another out at another point where you can just say you just don't understand scale.
Oh, somebody else is coming up with that argument at the moment.
Yeah.
Who's that?
It's one of the best arguments that they've got at the minute. The scale argument.
Zooming in on a digitally formed circle will give you...
Oh, Lyman scam.
Lyman scam.
That's the fella.
Yeah.
That's the potato.
He's on the scale argument at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, graphic.
Digitally forms, which is made out of what? It's formed of pixels.
Yeah, it's square. Yeah.
Which are squares.
Yeah, and if you
digitize he's demonstrating our point exactly, that you cannot get that square to curve. That straight line top of that square will not curve in any way. So
No.
He's
he
actually
has
demonstrating our point.
He says it's flat, though. He says if you zoom in enough on a sphere, you get a flat, which is geometrically impossible because of constant curvature of a sphere. I mean, fantastic. Right, I'll carry on with this stuff. Okay.
Wizardry.
So what are you going to say?
Fantastic
It's curved,
wizardry.
horizontal? Are you going? This is, remember, Scott. This is a geometric proof. So yes, okay. So in geometry, a vertical and a horizontal are perpendicular. Yes.
End of Bev's experiment.
So then I'm asking, when you drop that plumb bob, how do you know that what you're seeing there is actually level and not just very close to it?
Because a vertical is a plumb bob in reality, and a horizontal is a level in reality.
How do you know that what you're looking at is horizontal?
Right, so here again, semantical argument. How do you know what you're looking at is horizontal? Well, a water level establishes a horizontal plane of reference. And if it's not horizontal, what is it? Pretty simple question. They never answer it. How do you determine that one's vertical and one's horizontal? Because they're the tools that establish it.
Okay, real quick.
Okay. So are you saying then a water level is not a tool for establishing a horizontal?
I was talking, okay?
Oh,
I was trying to get your attention. And I was speaking before you began, long before.
Sorry, didn't hear you.
Don't act like I wasn't, okay? Now, I'm about to post it. I want you to pay attention. Read this.
No, I want you to pay attention. Listen very carefully.
What do you think's coming?
Wizardry.
Where's this? It takes ages.
Give Curve the minute he usually
I'll get it.
uses one.
I'll get the thingy ready to copy and paste it and put it in the chat.
Didn't you interrupt Bev?
There you go. Oh, so it might be a bit small.
Never mind the level surface at the end. That's the beginning again. I'd like for you to read that very quickly, Bev.
Yeah. I'm not reading it out loud. That's what I came in here for. Like, which curved model do you go with? No, I came in. I'm finishing off my proof, my second proof.
Do you understand?
I can't read that.
The question was, I understand that you think it's curved. I was asking which model you subscribe to.
Bev, I did not write that.
Right, he didn't write it. It says a level surface is defined as a curved surface, which at each point is a perpendicular to the direction of gravity at that point. The surface of still water is a truly level surface. Any surface parallel to the mean spherical spheroidal surface of the Earth, therefore, is a level surface. Level surface. He's copy and pasted it from somewhere, right? No, I think I said to somebody
who's
the other
posted
day,
that?
That's Curved. Curved did that.
That was from Curved.
Yeah, but he's obviously got it from a McToon's source, that, right? A level surface, which they try and say, somebody said that the other day, I think, a level surface is different than a level line. I think that was F.E. Dogma that said that.
A level surface is different from a level line.
Right, well, it says, I mean, I have a bone of contention to pick with this, because it says a level surface is defined as a curved surface which at each point is perpendicular to the direction of gravity, right? Well, the direction of gravity, vector-wise, vertical, plumb bob. Perpendicular is two straight lines. It's a relationship of two right lines. So how can that be curved? Straight lines don't curve. A perpendicular is two straight lines. Where's the curvature? I mean, it's contradictory in the words, right? You can't have something that is defined as not being something and then say that it is that thing that it's defined as not being.
Yeah.
That's about as silly as it gets. But like
it's the contrarian nature of their argument.
It's the wizardry, right? If you don't see that, I mean, you'll struggle to argue with them because they're in that position where they're accepting both. It's cognitive dissonance, right? That both of these ideas that a level can be a straight line and a curved line, and you can intermittently change them at will
as you need them. Yeah.
Fantastic thinking.
I think it's copied and pasted from a website on level.
Yeah, I did copy.
Did you see
from a website?
The whole Wikipedia thing that I just posted before about a water level, or did you just disregard that and go like, I'll copy and paste something else?
Yes.
You know, I only came in here to find out which curved model you subscribe to, because it will matter in my water level proof.
The globe model.
Yeah. Which one?
You know who that is? That's Dawn.
That's Dawn. Yeah.
I think this is the beginning of Dawn. If you listen to this now.
Went on in your proof.
Because I'm not giving it yet. I'm trying to work out a way that I can give it to you. So please, which model of the water level curving do you subscribe to? A or B?
What's the difference between A and B?
The consensus is B at the minute. Well, I'm going to model it on my water level proof.
Can you hear me?
A has a rise.
Yeah, these are two curves.
Yes.
One's twisted away from the other.
Yeah, one drops away and the other one rises to find a level over distance.
It'd be the ones
more like what we have.
Yeah. They both match our model, actually.
A and B.
No, they don't.
Really.
They do.
No, Dawn.
Not really.
The man is vertical. The man.
See, the Dawn's got the problems. Dawn says they both match the model.
I was just going to ask who it was that was saying that.
Yeah, that's Dawn.
Yeah.
Shout out, Dawn. Come back for a chat anytime, Dawn.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, we've got
right?
a special room for you now, Dawn.
Everybody has, you know, if you have the model placed in your brains, right? It is both of these, A and B, isn't it? You have to have both the drop and the hump, because level, as everyone knows, it goes and it finds its level. Well, that level doesn't drop. But the model needs curvature both ways. It needs both of those to be true. The counter to it is that it's just horizontal. It's a straight line. It's the line that's in between both of these models. But that can't be true to people, because the model's too strong.
I don't know if the model's too strong. It's just like you were saying earlier, you know, the logic has been taken away. The critical thinking is taken away from people. And they're just presented with this ball at an early age and told this is where you live. You accept it at that age because you can't question the people that are in that authoritative position over you, telling you these things. And you don't question it as you grow up. And
you see what happens to grown men, though, when asked, which one of these models do you think the water conforms to? Right? And they say both. Well, you've got to be pretty confused, right? For that to be your best answer, it both drops away from you at every point and it rises to drop again to find its level.
Rises to drop. off again.
That's what happens.
It's just crazy. Yeah, no, absolutely.
They've got a guy who completely awesomely just does fantastic geodetic software programming. Yeah, he makes that top model real.
He works with that guy that literally photographed something. Didn't
Yeah, literally. Yeah,
And it's vertical.
And he's
That does not happen.
That's in the next video. I've got another video over the other side ready.
Oh, we've got that coming up, have we?
Yeah. That'll be some other time, mate. Maybe later on in the week. Okay, we'll get this done.
What? We can explain this.
No. You can stand like that on Earth and make A. That's fine.
You can, but it's a little silly. It's a little silly.
Anyone can.
He's a bit compliant.
So major consensus is B then, right?
Yeah.
What did Dog just say?
That's sweet.
He said you can stand that way if you want, but he's right. It's just silly though.
I think B's the strangest one. Once you understand how a water level works, I'll show you.
Communication going on.
I'll go.
Thanks. They're not a model, Bev. They're not models. They're just curves.
You're right
they
about
both
that. You're
kind
right.
of reality if you stretch your mind.
You're right. You're right.
They're
You're right.
He said
They're not models.
It's not that far from reality if you stretch your mind. Listen.
This is B
Listen.
then, right?
Yeah.
What did Dog just say?
That's sweet.
He said you can stand that way if you want, but he's right. It's just silly though.
I think B's the strangest one. Once you understand how a water level works, I'll show you.
Communication going on.
I'll go.
Go on, Dawn.
Thanks.
They're not a model, Bev. They're not models. They're just curves.
You're right
they
about
both
that. You're
kind
right.
of fit reality if you stretch your mind.
You're right. You're right.
They
You're
both
to stretch
kind
your
of
mind.
fit reality
They're
if you
both
stretch your
on a
mind.
curve, which is our model.
right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. But B. I'll go with drawing up B. I've already drawn my.
You should just know though that we're a little bit unclear on exactly what all you're taking from this.
I'll come back. I'll come back with it just for you.
A little bit unclear on what?
A and B.
They're a little bit unclear on what I'm trying to do about this.
About what?
Well, when I say I've already modelled it, the model that I did was the infinite water level, right? Which is it's a concept that people haven't really got and understood yet, and the reason why it's called an infinite water level. Let me put that in the chat. Right, but this is. I wonder where it'd be.
Hello, guys.
Got it. All right.
Right, spot on.
Like
Yeah, I'm listening in.
infinite water level. I can't remember where it is now because this is like so long ago. But I must have done it loads of times. Oh. You've seen it, haven't you? Have we not got a meme?
Not with your
Oh,
infinite
there
water
it
level,
is.
no.
There we go. There's one of the drawings for the chat. I think that's the first one. The just water levels that reference each other, and they only work on. Well, there you go. The logical statement. If the Earth is a spherical object, P, then the surface of liquid water must be curved, Q. Well, let's do that's the logical statement, antecedent P and consequent Q.
Consequent Q. Mind your P's and Q's.
Yeah, which we did very much. Then they do follow that if the Earth is spherical, everybody agrees that that's what they think it is. Then, as a consequence of that, the surface of liquid water must be curved to conform to it. Well, just so happens that a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, and that particular array and arrangement of water levels would be true if you were to move any of those water levels and put them in any other position. It would always be true because a water level is a tool, and it's called an infinite water level because
that's a canal, right? All of those little bits, if they're done to infinity, right? That would just be the surface of the water in the canal. Because one body, they're the same body, so they'll be on the same level. So that's what I was doing, and I was
So hang on. Would they? Sorry, Bev. Would they be individual segments of the same straight line? They would be, wouldn't they? They'd have to be.
Well, if you took the Euclidean geometry, then each end of that water level would be a point, so you would have 2 points, and then you could draw a straight line through Euclidean geometry, right? 2 extreme points, a straight line all the way between.
So you could have the one at the beginning and the one at the end, and get rid of all the ones in the middle, and it would give you exactly the same principles.
Yeah. That was the idea of the infinite water level, right? Because it just goes to show that is one body of water. The little tubes just make it easier for you to carry it around, but it may as well be one massive body of water, because that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It the water level establishes it. It does that of its own accord. So that's what I was talking about. I was like I said, because I have modelled these other ones, but I didn't put water in them because you can't, because they won't work. You can only fill water up and get this model to work, or any model of water levels to work with this arrangement.
Sorry, Bev.
Go on.
But people started creating, on paper, their own designs of how they think a water level will be, like on a curve. And,
we had
hashtag Imaginometry.
They forgot that actually, if one of the ends of the water level is lower than the other one, then obviously it would just spill out.
Well, we had
that's their problem.
That classic from it was Crow, wasn't it? Crow XE, where he put it on the side of a circle as an illustration, obviously trying to depict his model, and it was just ludicrous what he was trying to illustrate in this illustration.
Yeah,
try and put
no practical sense. I'll try and see if I can find some of the silly stuff that we've had given to us.
I'm trying to see if I can, because I made it into a thumbnail, didn't I, for the video. I'm going back through the thumb, see if I can find it.
I bet most of mine are on my phone.
Oh, there we go.
You got it.
Yeah. Be back to potatoes. And offing text. There we go. There you go.
Yeah, sideways.
Yeah, and that's that illustration was from Crow. That was direct from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, that's what they're struggling with at the minute. But I mean, it's what is needed rather than what that they can show that is real. It's just literally what they need to happen. Because I'm trying to work out the consensus of how you guys imagine the water level to be.
Using imagine.
Yeah, you told us that already, but what are you going to do once you've worked out the consensus?
I'm going to go and map my water level proof with your model to prove that it doesn't work. Well, I'll show you.
What method are you going to use to map it?
Water levels.
Yeah,
and how water levels work. Like the tool.
Let's just see his proof when he's ready. He's not ready.
Yeah.
Sure, Bev.
Yeah, I'll bring it back when
obviously
later.
got something in mind, Scott. He's obviously got some plan in mind.
Yeah, but
this is
if he keeps saying I'm gonna bring it back, I'm gonna bring it back.
Yeah, man, you there, Redman? Just
watching this video. Was that Redman or?
Yeah.
Struggle to know whether he's here or not.
Back every time he asks a question, I don't know why.
Alright, dude, I'm just I'm recording a old Gems one.
Save some time here. Because if he's planning on taking a small water level at one point and checking it with, say, the surface of the water there, is it level with both ends of the tubes of the water level?
Yeah, you're getting it.
To the surface of the water.
Getting it.
Point A.
Yeah.
And then move down the canal. Is the same condition met at point B? Move down. Is the same condition. And pretend. Establishing that it's a plane. The entire thing is a waste of time.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was trying to say.
Keep thinking about it.
To post that definition, which is what I didn't get to finish saying. Which is
definitions are going to confuse them.
So I said when you jumped in to post that definition is when I didn't get to finish what I was saying. So Bev, on this first proof of yours, let me just say one thing to you. You can respond or not respond, but just that when you drop a plumb line, and then you take you look at what's intersecting it or what's there, what I'm saying is that if you're not measuring that with some kind of precision that can distinguish between a truly horizontal line there or a very, very slightly curved line, then it's not really a proof.
What? Listen, Scott. Geometric proof.
Well, if you're saying that if you're a priori saying that it's going to be perpendicular, well, then you're not really saying anything.
Geometric proof. You know how Euclidean geometry works.
If you're a priori claiming that's going to be a perpendicular line, well, then you're not proving that it's a perpendicular line.
Geometrically, Scott.
Did you hear that? I think that must have been the time that QE was using a priori within his explanation of the scientific method. Check it. It's Latin. It just means taken for granted, I think.
Right. Yeah.
So he's saying it's a perpendicular, and me saying that because a vertical is established by a plumb bob and the horizontal is established by a level, that's a priori and that you can't take that for granted. Without offering anything, right? He's just saying, no, you can't use horizontal and vertical within this argument because it's somebody else has already said it and defined it, and they're the reference frames we use.
I understand. I'm speaking geometrically.
Yeah. The rules are set out in the geometry. Like, I don't have to prove that it's perpendicular to it. That's within the rules of the geometry we're dealing with.
If you claim it's perpendicular, then you're not proving to anyone that the real world
listen, Scott. I said a geometric proof.
So, but how
that the water level is horizontal? I've done it.
Why do you say water? Why do you say water level? Why are you saying water level in a geometric proof?
Because that's how you do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is.
Hold on, dog show. Let me finish. If you're trying to match that to actual water in the real world, that makes it the kind of thing I'm talking about. And in order to be able to do that, you'd have to measure to the precision that I was talking about, and that's what makes it not a proof. You can't connect up your geometry thing you're doing there with the water level without doing some really precise measurements.
Oh. Well, because it's geometric.
Yeah, but geometric isn't necessarily the same as the geometry of the real world. Right? We want to model the real world geometry.
Do you hear that? Do you want me to go back and do that again, right?
He talks so fast, doesn't he?
Listen
How
to
can you
what
even...
he's saying. Yeah, I don't know. Is it a tactic, right, that he uses to just talk a load of bullshit? But
I think so. Because he did the same when he came to... do you remember when he came to on the level? And I had my little chat with him.
Some of them times seemed like he was actually going on hyperspeed. It seemed like
hyperspeed. He was on fast forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Geometry.
Right, listen.
Like, I don't have to prove that it's perpendicular to it. That's within the rules of the geometry we're dealing with.
if you claim it's perpendicular, then you're not proving to anyone that the real world
Listen, Scott. I said a geometric proof.
So, but how
that the water level is horizontal? I've done it.
Why do you say water? Why do you say water level? Why are you saying water level in a geometric proof?
Because that's how you do it.
That's
No,
what I'm
it's
saying.
not. Yeah, it is.
Hold that dog shot. Let me finish. If you're trying to match that to actual water in the real world, that makes it the kind of thing I'm talking about. And in order to be able to do that, you'd have to measure to the precision that I was talking about, and that's what makes it not a proof. You can't connect up your geometry thing you're doing there with the water level without doing some really precise measurements.
Oh. Well, like, because it's geometric.
Like, yeah, but geometric isn't necessarily the same as the geometry of the real world. Right? We want to model the real world geometrically, and you're not doing it correctly.
You want to model it geometrically, and I'm not doing it correctly, even though geometry means earth measurement, right? But that's not how you measure the earth with the geometry, because, I don't know, a load of waffle doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah, one more time, just that last little bit, please.
I lost it. That's not good. More tears.
You're doing well.
What level, mean?
Level is ever understood is
Gem, what is before
Gem.
Just listen.
And there's no confusion.
No. Like a circle isn't level. Geometry is.
You can call it whatever you say about it. The point is that it's not related to what the actual water line does. That's what we're telling you.
Oh yeah, so you say that
of the sphere.
Yeah, bendy horizontal.
Oh.
Again, straight line,
giveaways.
geometrically.
Right. Okay.
It tells us exactly what the curve is.
Sweet. So that's what you're saying. Like a water level curves at that rate.
What?
One of what?
Isn't that what you're trying to prove? You said you're trying to prove that water level is horizontal.
Well, like,
what are we doing?
I've lost it.
Bev, can I?
That was it, wasn't it?
Sphere.
Yeah.
Water everywhere he goes. So what's
the
the
top?
point?
The top of the string of the pump log.
No.
He said you can stand that way if you want, but he's right. It's just silly. Saying if
I said a geometric
water level or the water line, then you're gonna have to measure to find out is it actually perpendicular to the floor level.
Do you have a look?
Yeah,
it is.
Hold that dog shot. Let me finish. If you're trying to match that to actual water in the real world, that makes it the kind of thing I'm talking about. And in order to be able to do that, you'd have to measure to the precision that I was talking about, and that's what makes it not a proof. You can't connect up your geometry thing you're doing there with the water level without doing some really precise measurements.
Oh. Well, like, because it's geometric.
Yeah, but geometric isn't necessarily the same as the geometry of the real world. Right? We want to model the real world geometrically, and you're not doing it correctly.
There you go.
Did he just say geometry isn't the same as geometry?
I think so. Yeah.
Like with just more words?
Yeah.
Geometric, right there.
Yeah, geometric isn't necessarily the same as the geometry of the real world. Right? We want to model the real world geometrically, and you're not doing it correctly.
If you want to model the real world geometrically, you're not doing it correctly.
Yeah. I'll clip
by
this.
using geometry.
I'll clip this bit because it.
Yeah, but geometric isn't necessarily the same as the geometry of the real world. Right? We want to model the real world geometrically, and you're not doing it correctly.
He says it's one of those tongue twisters, right? I bet Scott Veach tongue twisters. Save audio clip. Right, so what he says is.
Yeah, but geometric isn't necessarily the same as the geometry of the real world. Right? We want to model the real world geometrically, and you're not doing it correctly.
It's fantastic.
It's a bit like the level is curved thing, isn't it?
Yeah, level is curved because curved is level.
Yeah.
Why? How would you model it?
You're fiating that the water level, you're fiating that it is a perpendicular line to.
You're fiating, right? Now, isn't that a currency?
Well, to fiat something is
like to declare.
Yeah.
He's just he's saying
it's
declaring it.
It's a declaration, isn't it? Yeah.
That the water is level. Let me take that again then.
You're fiating that the water level, you're fiating that it is a perpendicular line to the Wombat.
Yeah. I would.
Yeah.
You say that? Yeah, I would definitely.
Yeah.
I'd stand behind that. Definitely.
At both ends or anywhere in between.
Perpendicular. Yeah. Straight line.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you suppose to do geometry then? You know, like what?
Well, that's the question. Is if you want to say something about the actual water level or the water line, then you're going to have to measure to find out is it actually perpendicular to the water level.
Do you have a look? Have a look in the chat there now.
Bad for lab experiment.
Right. So at this point, posed with the question, if a plumb line is vertical, and then you've got water underneath it, and that water is like it's level, right? Whatever the water is, and the plumb line comes down. Is that water level underneath perpendicular, right? It's obviously it's a straight line. Like one's coming vertical and the other one's horizontal, right? If it's not horizontal, it's on a tilt, right? Or is it curved? Do you think it's curved? Or is it horizontal? That's the question that that's going through my mind whenever I hear this, right? The one's vertical, the other one's got to be horizontal. It's got to be. If it's perpendicular, it's a straight line. So that straight line has to be horizontal. So I don't think I'm crazy in saying that at all. Have a look in the chat.
I'm looking. What about it?
What's that?
No,
I don't know whether you've ever heard this one before, but see how you think this is. I'll set a picture so everybody can see it in the. It's just a map, Ordnance Survey map of the UK. There.
A map and some.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? You know what a map is?
Of course.
Geometric representation of the land to scale.
But is it a perfect representation?
It's a geometric representation, isn't it?
It's geometry, but
So if
you wouldn't use it to prove something.
If I was giving you a geometrical proof of the horizontal, then I would just use the levels of that and draw it out, wouldn't I?
No, that wouldn't prove anything.
Geometrically.
No, it wouldn't prove anything.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
You'd have to be able to establish that the actual physical
The water level between the canals is horizontal. Yeah. That's the way it works.
That's the thing you want to prove.
Geometrically, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't do that.
Geometrically.
Yeah, but you can't do that if you assume it.
Geometrically, it's horizontal, though, isn't it, Scott? It's a very definite, easy proof. Geometrically.
You're assuming.
I'm not assuming anything. That's exactly how geometry works.
Well, no, you
exactly.
are assuming that it's horizontal.
Because geometry does mean Earth measurement, and that's what they do. They measure the Earth and then represent that on paper. Geometry.
So did you do that measurement, or did you do it precise?
Yeah, I've got a scale ruler here.
And is it precise enough to tell the difference between?
Yeah, 1 to 50,000. Yeah. It's an Ordnance Survey map.
But how precise is it?
Right, again, he's going to scale. But what do you think of that? Geometric proof.
In a map.
Yeah, well, what is geometry? Literal Earth measurement. What's a map?
Measurement. What's a map? It's a measurement of the
Earth at to scale.
Yeah.
Accurate representation. And he's going now. Is that accurate enough? Well, yeah. It's Ordnance Survey. I mean, that's It's how people rely on these maps, don't they? I mean, they did back in the day. But yeah, they've measured it. They're accurate. They've triangulated the UK. It's probably the most well-known mapped bit of land anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah. Yeah, it's basically where modern mapping started, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so they have done it, and they've triangulated. I think to the latest one, they reckoned they're within an inch now with the modern techniques and going from triangles and triangulation. Shout out Gem Panda.
See that's the thing that always gets me about them claiming that they have a mapped out surface of a sphere. Right. I mean, I've had this argument with Chunky Butt Boy many times that there should be, if you take the surface of a sphere and try and flatten it out, it's what's the word for it? I've forgotten.
Distorted mess, non-developable surface.
Yeah, non-developable surface. So you can't flatten it out without distortion. So therefore, if maps are flat representations of the surface of that sphere, there should be distortion.
Mm-hmm.
There should be a distortion key in every single map.
They claim there is, but I mean there isn't. It just literally isn't. Not in the UK, like I keep saying to people. In the UK, we've got a grid reference system, not that long. A grid. And all of the grids and the squares all fit together, and it's all mapped out, and it's to scale. Like I say, it's within an inch from top to bottom. All of it's been triangulated. Yeah, they'll say whatever, but I mean, you cannot. It's a non-developable surface, like you said. Can't have it on a thing. So I mean, I thought that was just off. I mean, completely forgot I'd ever done that geometric proof. Is that? That was just a quick one off the top of my head. I don't know. It doesn't actually prove anything for the horizontal, but it's the geometry. And the elevation on the map is a straight line. If you know, I'll put this in the pictures.
In the offing.
Yeah. This is the elevation map. This was given to me by Sly Sparkane. He gave us this on Twitter when he was doing it. I want to actually draw this out for myself, getting all of the actual heights and putting them in there and doing it better, but you can see that there. That is the Leeds to Liverpool Canal with the elevation map of it all the way across, and this bit from here to there is the 27-mile stretch. This is the lock here at Apley Bridge, and these are the locks from the Mersey up to there, and there's no locks on that 27-mile stretch. Depicted as a straight line, by the way.
No, look at the baseline.
Yeah, it's strange that, but well, not strange, but strange that people don't notice.
That's supposed to be east coast to west coast of the UK, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so sure this goes all the way to the coast. This goes to Leeds, so it may go to a river or something, you know.
Right,
that way. The idea was to get the ships, all of the coal and whatever from Leeds, I think, to Liverpool.
Get him.
Right. What do you mean? How
still,
precise? It's 1 to 50,000.
Well, when you drop a plumb bob, and you try to measure how perpendicular is the thing that it's crossing, the surface of the water, let's call it, how precise is the thing you use to measure that surface?
It's geometric proof, Scott.
Can you imagine how crazy that would look if they put it on a curve?
Oh was trying not to go there.
Yeah, you
but you just bring that reality hammer, don't you? That pretend reality hammer.
It's as well, like Scott's just brought up a point which a lot of people, I suppose, who don't understand how this works. I mean, there are two reference frames that we all work with. It's vertical and horizontal. Everybody understands them. But like Scott says, how do you know that it's perpendicular to the plumb bob? It's like, well, you don't. You just use a level. And you know that a level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. That you know that. You don't need to know that that is perpendicular, because perpendicular is the reference of two right lines at a perpendicular to each other. So just by the fact of you having one, the perpendicular is set at right angles to it. So how do you, like, when somebody says, how do you know it's perpendicular? Well, perpendicular is the relationship of two lines. So you know it because you've used the words perpendicular.
Mm-hmm.
Well, plus, I mean, if you're when you're building something, you can use a carpenter square to check to see if it's square.
Yeah. If one of your bubbles is broke in your level, you can get one from the other. You can do, as long as you've got one of the the vertical or horizontal. You're sorted, like you say, with a 90-degree square.
Yeah.
It's geometric proof, Scott.
It's not relevant to the real world then. So you're just describing a fantasy world.
No.
So geometric.
Right, see, I have to do that again. I'm telling him it's a geometric proof, meaning, it doesn't need practical, right? This is just geometric, pure geometric proof. And it's
an ordnance survey map.
But how precise is it?
What do you mean, how precise? It's 1 to 50,000.
Well, when you drop a plumb bob, and you try to measure how perpendicular is the thing that it's crossing, the surface of the water, let's call it. How precise is the
Hey guys, I gotta bounce out for a little bit. I'll be back if I can get back on in a minute.
Okay. Catch you later.
Great recap, by the way. Great recap.
Proof, Scott.
You didn't measure that surface, did you?
It's geometric proof, Scott.
Yeah, it's not relevant to the real world then. So you're just describing a fantasy world.
No.
A geometric world.
Geometry.
Yeah, you're not describing the real world.
They don't understand that geometry has its own proofs. They just think geometry is words.
I think they're living in non-Euclidity. Right, somebody's gone. Right, geometry's all of this geometry. Right, initially geometry was just Euclidean, and then at some point somebody's introduced non-Euclidean. Then that has been combined with Euclidean geometry, and now geometry to people like Scott is just something made up. It's like a fantasy. It's not real world stuff. Whereas there's a difference between Euclidean and non-Euclidean geometry. Euclidean is real world geometry, isn't it? Scott doesn't get it. It's a fantasy.
No, I don't think he's on his own there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that the logic of geometry has been lost. And it's pretty sad to see. I don't know, Scott. I mean, he's pretending to be an astronaut's son. He could be any age, but I'd say he's at least mid-30s, early 40s, right? And he's arguing about straight lines and level and stuff. I'd say it's pretty sad, but
is the measurement of the Earth. They transpose that onto the map. Then if you get that, you are doing geometry by transposing it back into the triangles or whatever.
No, you can't use that to make proofs about the shape of the planet. You can't, because those are approximations.
Listen, Scott, geometric proof.
Geometric. I understand what it is. but you're not doing it. If you're doing a pure geometric proof and not connecting it to the real world, then you're not doing anything.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean,
you are connecting it to the real world.
don't be worried about it. I only said it's a geometric proof. The water level's horizontal.
I know. I'm only explaining why it's relevant or not relevant, and so far it seems like it's irrelevant.
Well, it seems pretty relevant to you because you're getting upset. I mean,
I promise you, I'm so far from upset. I'm sorry if it feels that way to you, but this is not me upset. Trust me.
Yeah.
But I am trying to say to you, I am trying to say, and I'm having to talk fast because you interrupt a lot, that unless you are measuring the actual surface of the water, you can't then connect this to the water level.
Okay. So, like I said right at the very beginning, I'm only out to clear my name.
See, I can connect that to the water level. In fact, there is a Euclidean proof within Euclid that does actually use the water level type principles. So, yeah, I will show that.
From somebody calling me a child abuser for saying level is a straight line on a horizontal plane.
I understand that.
So that's all I'm trying to do.
From my perspective, there's no doubt that you are not that, and that I can't believe somebody calls you that, and I've already sent a note to that person, but I'm sorry that happened.
But you're not going to agree with me, are you? That level is a straight line on a horizontal plane.
What about the definition I posted?
So, yeah.
It disagrees with you. You realize that.
Yeah, I do realise that. But then I keep coming up with proofs that it is. Like, have you got anything to back up your geometry?
Yeah. Yes.
To prove how it curves, the water level?
Yes.
Okay. So you have a measurement of the curvature of the water level, do you?
Vertical lines diverge over distance. When they're separated by distance, they diverge. Vertical is not parallel. How many times do I got to tell you that?
How do they do that then?
So,
how do they do that?
Did you hear what I said? Can you tell me what I said, please?
You said something about vertical lines diverging, but that's not what verticals do, is it?
Yes.
No, because a vertical's a very definite position. If it's not in the same position as a vertical, it's not vertical.
Bev, do you understand what I'm saying? That if you're at position A and you have a vertical line at A and some distance away, the greater the distance, the more the divergence. At point B, that those two vertical lines are not parallel.
That doesn't happen in Euclidean geometry, though, does it?
Euclidean geometry does not address this.
Well, okay. Well, that's the geometry surveyors use.
Gravity.
You know.
Show me gravity in Euclidean geometry.
It's not there.
No.
You go back and hear that again.
Parallel.
That doesn't happen in Euclidean geometry, though, does it?
Euclidean geometry does not address this.
Well, okay. Well, that's the geometry surveyors use.
Gravity.
You know.
Show me gravity in Euclidean geometry.
He said Euclidean geometry does not address this. That's pretty bad. And then wants to see gravity within Euclidean geometry. Well, it's not there. But it is there. Like, vertical isn't even in Euclidean geometry, but perpendicular is. And they definitely use perpendicular with gravity. With it being perpendicular to the surface, so... Carry on.
It's not there.
Now, the radius is going to basically most closely approximate the vector of gravity. A radius.
Did you hear that?
The surface.
Put that back again.
In Euclidean geometry.
It's not there.
Now, the radius is going to basically most closely approximate the vector of gravity. A radius.
Okay.
Through the surface of the Earth, out into space.
In then. Because, like I say, I use Euclidean geometry. When I transpose everything off a map...
Euclidean.
Yeah. I presuppose that everything on the map is a straight line, and the distance between every point on that map is still a straight line.
Do that when you know that all flat maps are distorted.
Where does it say that? From like a center point.
Right, so again, there you go. There's your all maps are
Yeah.
distorted. Like where?
Yeah.
Where is the distortion?
So, and if all maps are distorted from the reality they represent, then there should be a distortion key on the map.
But where's the distortion from? Is the point that I think I'm about to go from, right? Where? It should be from the central point, and then get more and more distorted the further out you go from it.
From that central point.
Yeah. But then
Unless
you can't have that with a grid reference system like we have in the UK.
It would have to be the other way around for the edges of the maps to match up. The distortion would have to be focused in the centre.
It's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, crazy bullshit.
Impossible, unless you have a two-dimensional surface of a sphere, right? Then you might be able to fit everything on a two-dimensional plane onto that two-dimensional surface of a sphere.
The things you need to get by, eh?
Yeah, things happen.
Is it? Do all maps have a center point and they get more disaccurate?
I can't hear you. You know why?
Disaccurate, you heard that. That's a good one, wasn't it? They didn't call me for it at all. Like, it's like disaccurate. Just make up words, eh? Why not?
Make up words, yeah, why not? Beachy's doing it.
I don't even know why I'm trying. You're a hopeless lost case to begin with, so somebody else take it with this guy. But please
tap out.
Be accurate, whoever
it's curved tops out.
Yeah.
He's had enough.
Are you trying to say that because you measure 90 degrees, multiple places, the Earth's flat?
Trying to clear my name because somebody called me a child abuser.
Oh, well, just tell the people.
Just here to clear your name. You're not
teaching my kids is not child abuse. Ow. You're fine. You're not a child abuser.
Yeah.
No, they're just trying to get rid of you because you're asking the right questions, but
That's an absurd thing to think, right?
No. Yeah, I'm fine, but I'm here to prove that level is a straight line on a horizontal plane.
Classic.
Because it is. That is a fact.
Let's just drop that part.
Well, if you're going to, we're not on a horizontal plane.
To the hub. Otherwise, my motorbike.
Wait. He's saying it's level on a horizontal plane, which is fine, really. We're not on a horizontal plane, though.
Is that foolish delusions I
Can
have?
mean that, so you're fine. Yeah.
So level can mean
Yes.
that it's okay for
On a
that.
horizontal plane, yeah.
Baba booey, baba booey, baba booey.
Level is a straight line on a horizontal plane. Not if, level is. Yes. It's a statement.
Quite a few different
You
things.
keep presupposing that, and you keep telling yourself that, mate. You'll be right.
Yeah, I've been taught that.
Horizontal. I wonder why that is. Why do surveyors distinguish between level and horizontal?
They don't.
Because they do.
Which surveyors are you talking about?
Geodetic ones?
Ah, right. Well, they've got measurements, the curvature measurements, because again, Cosmos told us they have. They've got your measurements for you. So, if I were you, go and ask them what the measurements are. Get them to explain it to you. Then they can tell you, because they've measured it.
So the curve just said that they make it.
I just ignore Cosmo.
Oh well, he says claims, and he's
Cosmo's the one that's claimed it, but that's Dawn. I mean, Dawn. We all know Dawn's probably one of the most sensible people that was over there. that has been pushed out.
Yeah, had to squeeze him out, didn't they?
You only get pushed out when you make sense, right? So he knows that both of the models are ridiculous, and they had to work on his model, and he knows that Cosmo's not trustable for anything that he says, and making claims that I don't think you guys can fit.
He also called you a child abuser. He's not somebody we're going to support.
Yeah, they do, because he's still over there.
Kurt said a point, though, that I think is worth responding to, which is he said that surveyors make a distinction between these things, and you said they don't. And then I said geodetic surveys, and they seem to agree that they do.
Which geodetic surveyors are you talking about? Just like two in particular, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to get onto that after I've presented my proofs that it's horizontal. Then we can talk with them guys, and they can tell you all about at what point a horizontal bends. But they can explain that. I'm not going to be able to explain how they do that.
What's your proof then?
What do you?
I'll go and finish drawing it.
Drawing it?
Yeah.
Wait.
So you can understand.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to consider that proof if it's just a drawing.
Well, I've already given my geometric proof. You don't really accept that either.
What is it you're going to prove that it's horizontal?
The what? The water. This next one will be a water level proof.
Okay.
Did you write down your first one? Is it written down somewhere or something? Because maybe if I read it, I would understand what you're saying better.
No, I've not. I've done that. I've sort of give you an idea so you can have an example of what's going.
Instead of a proof.
See, even back then, I didn't want to give them up the proof. You've got to find it for yourself, right? If you're not willing to look for it, you'll never find it.
Never find it.
No matter if people put it right in front of your face, you've got to actually want to look for it and do a little bit of work. And I can make it more and more simple, but I'm still not going to be able to give you a proof until you get it for yourself. It's the way it is. And the way he says, like, he's not going to accept books and drawings. Well, Euclidean geometry is a book of proofs. They're all wrote down. They're just exercises. You have to perform them, right? You have to do brain work to do it and go through it. But they are books of proofs, right? There's a process. Can be done, especially within geometry. That's what it specialises in, this sort of thing. It's great.
Pardon?
Well, it might be a proof. It might be a proof. We have to see it. Because there are in geometry, there are proofs of purely pictures.
Yeah.
It's like you can demonstrate something exists.
Yeah.
Did I hear that right?
Scott knows.
You know, I'm not saying you have to take...
He said in geometry there are proofs.
Yeah. So he has to see it. But, I mean, they don't want to see it. That's the problem, right? Somebody says there's a proof, they just won't see it. And it's easier for them. Because once you see a proof, then...
Well, Scott's just admitted that they're there.
Yeah, the proofs within geometry are there.
Yeah. And that's coming from one of their brackets, air quotes, top boys.
I understand what you're saying better.
No, I've not. I've done that. I've sort of give you an idea so you can have a
It might be a proof. We have to see it. Because there are in geometry, there are proofs of purely pictures.
Yeah.
It's like you can demonstrate something exists.
My proof. You know, I'm not saying you have to take it as your proof. I'm just offering up my proof.
I see.
Yeah?
Sure. It's a little bit of a stretch of the word, but I can roll with that. And the first one is a proof. Is the first one prove anything about the real world, or is the first one a proof about geometric concepts?
It's a geometric proof.
And it stays with
of a horizontal level. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. Fair enough.
I guess along with it, it also gives you a geometric proof that verticals are parallel. Horizontals are parallel.
Do you have any?
But that's just geometric.
When this will be finished?
What?
Well, your drawing's going to be 27 miles, right?
I'm not asking for.
I might scale it down. You know.
If you're scaling it down, how long do you think it'll take you to get an end result for us?
Please,
to have a look
please do scale it down. Please. The last thing we want to do is look at a 27-mile long drawing.
Yeah, it's a theoretical concept, but I think you'll get the gist.
Okay, cool.
Right. So your theoretical concept is going to be proof. Is that what you're telling us?
Pardon?
We gotta look
I don't know. It depends what you take from it, doesn't it? You see, this is another thing that we're going to have to end up doing and having a discussion on, is the understanding of what proof is.
What proof is, yeah. It seems to be quite open-ended for them.
Yeah, like I don't know. I've never really had a discussion with anybody outside our little group of what proof is, right? I don't know, like in normal daily life, I don't think you ever have to have a discussion about what proof.
Proves something.
Yeah, it's a pretty big thing, right? What constitutes a proof? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just questioning his whole premise, Scott.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put pressure on you, Ben. I just want a general idea of when you think you'll get this done by.
I'll probably get the second drawing done a bit later on today, hopefully.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I'll wait till later today.
It's a couple hours for that proof to be done. That's good.
Yeah.
It's already 12:30 a.m.
Go out on the canal.
Pardon?
Are you planning on going out to the canal and doing something physically, or is this simply drawings?
I've already been out to the canal. You can walk along the canal. Yeah, just the canal's already there. You know, it's
okay. What did you do to demonstrate that these points X distance above the surface of the water are coplanar?
3 coplanar points.
Curving following the curve of the surface.
Level. Yeah, the water level.
No, see, you
How
did
did you show they were
nothing.
coplanar?
You did nothing.
But how did you show they were coplanar?
The water level is horizontal. Like I don't. It's not something that I have to prove that. I don't do that. It's not one of. What?
Isn't that what you're trying to prove? You said you're trying to prove that water level is horizontal.
Well, like water, it's a fact that water level is horizontal.
If you believe that, why are you trying to prove it?
Because some people don't accept it. Some people think that level curves, don't they?
But if you want to make a proof that will convince somebody who doesn't believe that, you can't use that as a fact.
I can use whatever. I can use reality though, can't I?
You asserting it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as you asserting it. If you don't show that these points are coplanar,
Yeah, like I don't have to sort of put this proof on you. Right. Can you see what's going on here, right? He's just trying to obfuscate, right? He knows that there is a proof within geometry. Because he said it earlier.
And now he's asking you why you need to prove this.
Something that you already
Yeah.
state. Like
No.
now,
Yeah.
take it as being water level and use the geometry to prove it, which there definitely is a way. And I'm not so sure whether Scott's seen it or somebody's seen it or whatever. But, I mean, we'll have to make it even more certain. But we have to start at the beginnings. And this is the basic understanding of a straight line and
This is just a straight line.
Yeah.
This is just a straight line we're talking about.
We're talking about, well, it's sort of the straight line, but one straight line has a perpendicular because it is a straight line.
Yeah, so it's a straight line relationship to another straight line.
Yeah, the two right lines making right angles, which everybody knows are right angles. Everybody's heard of an upright. Well, that's straight. Right is straight. It's the old term of the word. Right is straight. They've just changed the name of the word. It's called spellcasting, where they change the names of words. You don't have to accept it.
Okay, fair.
Okay.
This is an interesting proof. I'm looking forward to it, Ben.
I don't know. Who is that? Does anyone know who that is? Yeah, it is.
Calling a proof is interesting.
Yeah, that's much more interesting than the proof. Calling it proof.
Sweet.
What's interesting about drawing a picture that has no bearing a relationship to reality and calling it interesting.
Oh, that's no bearing on reality. That's where you might be getting mixed up, because I think I'm coming from a reality view of level.
And you're not.
But you need to be able to confirm that, don't you? That's the thing. You need to be able to check that what you're hypothesizing.
Well, yeah, but would you not say that you should be able to go? You took it. Water level, horizontal. Look, it's been measured. We know there's a curve to it, shouldn't you?
I do say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why has nobody ever offered up this measurement of the water level, the curvature of it?
Yeah, we've seen it.
How do you not know what type of curve the water level has then?
What do you think the Earth curve calculator is? It tells us exactly what the curve is.
Sweet. So that's what you're saying, like a water level curves at that rate.
Yeah. Well, at the correct rate.
Okay. Well, I'll try and map that into the into my proof later for the water level.
You use water Bisler's calculator. That's the accurate one.
But it's like a drop away, isn't it?
A drop away?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like a drop away. Yeah. From where you're standing. Yeah.
Okay.
If you use...
Yeah, I would imagine that'd be quite difficult for me to sort that.
Multiple points where, it bends up, to
multiple
get
points
your
again
elevation of the level. And it's a long tube that's connected over many miles. Each one, where if everything in it works right, you got your pressures right and all that kind of crap, no other problems. Yeah, your water level is going to show.
Pressure. If you got your pressures right. Yeah.
What pressures?
Well, I don't know. You've just got your pressures right? Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
I don't know where you check it. I don't know. They don't normally come with pressure.
Would that be gauge pressure?
Yeah.
Or...
Well, you'd obviously have to have a gauge to put on it. So I don't know whether you have to add the pressure within the gauge when you add it to the pressure of the. I don't know. We'll have to
get a man like Mabbott involved.
Do need to talk to Curved, right? I've been asking Curve for a chat ever since, and I never really had a chance. So again, I'll offer it again. Curved. We'll have a chat about this pressure and how to make a water level work. Check it.
That the height that you're establishing is the same height above the water, all the way along the surface of the water at all of the points.
Yeah.
What you have not done and will not do is established at all of those points are coplanar in the axis parallel to the surface of the Earth. You just will not.
Axis parallel to the plane of the Earth. You know how what was that?
Back it up.
Yeah.
So the water at
axis
all of the points,
parallel.
what you have not done and will not do is established at all of those points are coplanar in the axis parallel to the surface of the Earth.
Like
you just
coplanar in the axis parallel to the surface of the Earth.
So is that curved giving something away there?
I don't know. He says I've not established that. It's like because it's something that a normal average dude that has been called child abuser should have to do in order to prove that level is horizontal, right? These are Discord. I mean, they need to know from me.
But
do you know how a water level the tool works, don't you?
What are we doing?
Bev, can I confirm something with what you're planning to do? You're going to drop plumb bob to the surface of the water, then use a square to show that the plumb bob is square to the water, and then do that again.
Geometrically, I've already done that. Geometrically.
How far apart are your plumb bobs going to be from each other?
How far apart are your plums?
Like 27 miles, like total length across the canal, but it's like 15 miles as the crow flies.
How many plumb bobs are you going to use across?
Well, you can theoretically do it all the way along, can't you?
So how are you going to relate the angle to the angle of the other?
Well, one's a vertical and the other one's a horizontal, geometrically, isn't it?
And what height? Hang on, guys. What height are you dropping the plumb bobs from?
Right, so this was a theoretical exercise,
right,
for everyone to do at every point along the canal as you're walking along the canal. At every point, with holding a plumb bob in your hand and dangling that plumb bob, it would be perpendicular to the water level at every point all the way along the canal for 27 miles. No locks, so...
Is he trying to suggest that the plumb bobs won't be perpendicular to the water at some point?
Yes, at like some point that you're not
guy
right.
Of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some point over there.
Yeah. If you leave it at that position and then imagine yourself at another position, then the position that you were at, it won't be. I don't know. It's like I decided like way back the geometry it's the geometry and the words within the geometry that confuses people, right? So perpendicular is the relationship of two right lines, two straight lines. It can't be curved. It's provably it can't be curved because these are the foundation basis. It's definition 10 within the Euclidean geometry. So you start off at a point and then takes 3 or 4 definitions to get to a straight line. And then at definition 10, you're dealing with perpendicular. Now you can't mess about with that. That's 2 straight lines, 2 right lines. There's no curve. So you've lost it at any point that anybody ever says curvature when they are involving perpendicular. But they'll try. They've been sat in Discord chats for over 5 years. And like I say, this guy thinks he had an astronaut. His father went to the moon. Went moon? No, he didn't go to the moon, did he? Just up in space.
Yeah, in that was it a shuttle thing?
Well, yeah,
maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. So he definitely know about straight lines and that sort of stuff. It's vertical, geometrically, isn't it?
Guys, he's not physically doing this. You guys are missing what he's saying. He's not physically doing this.
He's got to physically do it.
Geometrically.
But even if he did physically do it, his plumb bob is going to be perpendicular to the surface of the water everywhere he goes. So
Thank you, Kevin.
Now, if the water's a horizontal plane, then ta-da!
The top of the street is going to be the same everywhere. It doesn't prove anything.
It doesn't have to be the same, boss.
I don't get that he's not actually doing it. He's just drawing.
Do you know what a perpendicular is? Do you want to go through that again? Straight line, geometrically.
Right. Okay. So he's going to draw a rectangle on a piece of paper and say.
Yeah. Basically.
There you go.
But to his credit, he's saying we don't have to accept it, which.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't know.
It works with my geometry, doesn't it?
Sure. Yeah. You do it that way. Yeah.
Like can you get your model to work with my geometry?
I'm not sure what you mean by geometry.
Somebody said no.
I think that was Kosho.
A circle, a segment of a sphere, great circle.
Yeah, back it up.
I'm not sure what you mean by.
I don't know who that was. To work with my geometry.
I'm not sure what you mean by.
Hard to tell. There was definitely somebody that said no, though.
If you take a circle, a segment of a sphere, the great circle, circumference of the sphere, just work with the circle at all points where the radius intersects the circle.
How do you define the circle? Just work with the circle at all times.
Will be
you'll be fine.
to that radius. The radius is representative of vertical.
Yeah, totally
All
agree.
the way around that circle, all the way on all points of the surface of the sphere.
Yeah, bendy horizontal.
Tangent that is perpendicular. Now, there's geometry.
A bendy horizontal that is perpendicular.
Listen to him. He does say it's at all points around the circle.
At all points.
Yeah.
Where the radius
on the
intersects
radius.
the circle.
When it
How do you
intersects
define
the circle, the curve.
Will be perpendicular to that radius. The radius is representative of vertical.
Yeah, totally agree.
All the way around that circle, all the way on all points of the surface of the sphere.
Yeah, bendy horizontal. Yeah, he just said like you get a radius, and at all points, all the way around where it intersects the circle, like the circle. He just imagines it's perpendicular. Perpendicular is the relationship of two straight lines, like we keep saying. Two right lines. So, what's he on about? The radius of a circle, perpendicular. I don't think he knows what he's saying, right? Basic fundamentals, geometry, first principles, definition 10. Two straight lines at a relationship of that is perpendicular.
That is perpendicular. Now, there's geometry backing up our model. Now,
is there? So he's just said that,
So
right? And he thinks that's it.
All
geometry.
that bullshit,
Yeah.
and he thinks it backs his belief system.
Yeah, because he thinks perpendicular can be a relationship with bend one of those lines, and the relationship is still perpendicular. But he just doesn't understand the fundamental relationship of a perpendicular, right? Which line is perpendicular? Well, they both are, because it's a relationship of two straight lines to one another.
Two lines, yeah.
You can't bend one of them.
No.
Call it a circle.
I mean, if you got a perpendicular and like you draw it on a piece of paper and you turn a piece of paper through 90 degrees, those lines are still perpendicular to each other. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Which one's horizontal, which one's vertical on that piece of paper. They are perpendiculars.
Yeah. And all you need for one perpendicular is a straight line, because that will establish the other. But
the other. Mm-hmm.
Do you know it?
yes.
Go on.
You just said
a tangent is perpendicular to the radius, which is representative of the vertical.
Is where's that? Is that a part of the axioms of it? What
with the circle, with the sphere?
Doesn't sound like Euclidean geometry. What sort of geometry are you using?
I'm not doing this with you.
Hey, Bev.
It gets tough, doesn't it?
The key here is that your geometry does not reflect the world as we in the reality.
Euclidean geometry does.
No, your geometry, the one where you draw the straight line and say
that's Euclidean geometry. Rules are very, very simple.
Hold on, Curve. I'm in the middle of a sentence. That's not the same thing as what the actual water line does in our world. And that's our point. Is you keep saying that this is the water line, this represents the water line, so anything you do with this water line is representative of the real world.
Water level.
You can call it whatever you say about it. The point is that it's not related to what the actual water line does. That's what we're telling you.
Oh yeah, so you say that the water level curves, and that's fine.
So using Euclidean geometry, how would you actually take an area of a sphere? Can you explain that to me? Using Euclidean geometry, a surface area of a sphere.
I don't know.
Euclidean geometry.
I don't know. I've never gone into that.
Yeah, that's because you need to use non-Euclidean geometry for that.
Oh. Surface area of a sphere, 4 pi r squared, isn't it? Yeah.
And a squared function gives you what?
Well, that's Euclidean, isn't it? 4 pi r squared. That's the Euclidean thing. I mean, but Euclidean wouldn't use 4 pi r squared, I don't think.
May do. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see what the functions of it are. But I mean, it's not non-Euclidean using pi r squared, is it?
So Foolish Delusions is claiming non-Euclidean and then
Yeah.
giving a Euclidean equation.
Just get it again, right?
Related to what the actual water level does. That's what we're talking.
I think he's coming in to
Yeah, so
save it.
you say that the water level curves, and that's fine.
Sounds like it.
Euclidean geometry. How would you actually take an area of a sphere? Can you explain that to me?
4 pi r
Using
squared.
Euclidean geometry.
Because you'd use a Euclidean
A
sphere.
surface area of a sphere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Euclidean geometry.
Yeah, surface area of a sphere. 4 pi r squared, because surface area of a circle is pi r squared, and the surface area of that sphere that is formed by the radius of that circle would be 4 pi r squared. Yes. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't always answer these questions.
Yeah, that's
to
because
let
you
them...
need to use non-Euclidean geometry.
Yeah, well, you don't have to give them everything all the time,
spherical trigonometry has been done for
No.
with Euclidean.
A surface area on the surface of a sphere.
Okay. Oh, so you're talking spherical geometry?
I'm talking about non-Euclidean versus Euclidean geometry.
Oh, just non-Euclidean, like just not Euclidean geometry.
No, it's a standard in maths. Called
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, non-Euclidean geometry is just not Euclidean.
That's right. It's not Euclidean, but
So,
it's a common phrase in geometry.
Euclidean geometry is the geometry that everybody knows. So, not that geometry is an other geometry that isn't the geometry that you know.
But generally refers to hyperbolic geometry.
Well, there's a few different forms of non-Euclidean geometry. That's why I was asking you, which geometry do you use? Because surveyors and all of that just use Euclidean geometry.
Well, not if they're doing surface area of a sphere, they don't.
Oh, okay, but we're not doing surface area of a sphere. We're talking about the water level.
Now, so the way in which you're trying to map your Euclidean geometry to the actual reality of the world, it isn't matching up successfully.
Why? That's how maps are made. That's why all maps are flat.
You could try to prove it if you want. You could try to prove it, but you're not trying to do that. That's what it seems like you're saying.
Trying to prove what?
You're just assuming it.
I don't have to prove how they make maps, do I? Like I'm telling you.
I'm not asking you how to prove how they make maps. I'm asking you to prove that the assumptions you're making about, say, the water line geometrically actually hold up when you measure things in reality.
Yeah. See.
Right. So he's asking me to prove that the statement a water level is the tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference is real.
Holds up. Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that to somebody that just goes? You prove it.
And he's the one that said that geometry holds its own proofs.
Yeah.
So he's now asking you to prove the geometry that he says holds its own proofs.
Yeah. Without holding up any counter claim or any counter proof or anything. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how much further we go into
This is why
this.
I came into this saying level is a straight line.
Okay. Which is wrong.
How do you measure things in reality?
Using tools.
See, this all started because we were talking about somebody who said that level rises to your eye line, and I said, "Don't be silly, can't do. That's one level down there."
In relation to something else.
That one level
is equidistant to something else.
Is level.
Is level. So therefore, you can have a bendy line that's level. You can have a straight line that's level.
No, you can't. That's an oxymoron.
That's
foolish delusion.
Foolish again, yeah. Dross, as we call him. Yeah. You can have a bendy line. Yeah, of course you can.
Is equidistant from the point that you're determining level from.
No.
So I gave you the example. If I have a wheel and the tire is not level with the hub, I'm going to have a very uncomfortable ride.
No. No, that's
Done a
very
Hufford.
wrong.
Knob.
Mick West got shut down. Mick West shut down Sean Hufford, I think, on that very point.
I've got the clip for that, and we might add it into this when I put this one out. I'll put the Sean Hufford clip in there. Mick West shut him down because obviously level isn't a circle. It's not.
Can't be.
When Fight the Flat Earth brought it up, like a circle isn't level, and a wheel isn't level.
It can be.
No, it can't.
You're referencing it to a second point.
No.
Where's the second point?
Level is horizontal, and plumb is vertical.
Not always, no.
So if I put up a shelf and that shelf is flat,
When is it not?
and
when
the
is it not
marble
level?
rolls off
When
it,
it's,
is it
when it's
level?
curved. That's when it's not horizontal.
Then it wouldn't be level, would it?
Yes, it would still be level. That's what the word means.
So if it's curving, how's it level?
Level doesn't mean flat. Like you think.
That's a Zanuck classic.
It has a few meanings, level.
If somebody's put the Zanuck thing up in the chat, I'll get it.
Well, does. It's a word.
It's a few meanings.
Curve already posted a good definition of it, and the definition is very clear. It says a level surface is defined as a curved surface, which at each point is perpendicular to the direction of gravity at that point.
So is that all you take? Is like
That
a
gets
definition
posted
in the chat?
That's
Well, that's what you're asking for. That's what you're asking for.
Right. Okay. So
and you're
if I find a definition that says differently, would you you'd go with that? Would you?
You will. You'll have to accept that multiple definitions exist, then, won't you?
It has to be applicable.
Yeah.
But this is semantics.
I mentioned that earlier.
The meanings of words. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Do you like that? We're
Mm.
going on definitions, and then as soon as you say, "Well, I've got a definition as well," well, that's semantics. It's like, yeah, it is
Semantics.
literally.
Yeah.
It's the definitions of the words.
Yeah, we are talking about semantics, and you claim it's semantics.
Definitely.
There, you found another definition back there. So
Yeah.
Now you know there's multiple definitions of the word level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one you just posted, that is just like ours says. So that means that that's curved.
Do you see where it starts off? A horizontal plane or line, and then goes on.
Equal to something else.
Like, does that?
No, that says an instrument. No, that says an instrument for indicating a horizontal line.
But
That's
wait,
a noun. It's
section
different.
of a canal from one lock to another, that is a totally different use of level.
Don't worry, I'll stop that and put this one in the chat, because this is a prime example of the usage of wizardry, let's call it, because the way they change the meanings of words and change the descriptions of words. This is an old dictionary that we found, and I'd say this: if you ever see any old dictionaries anywhere, always look at the meanings of certain words, because this one's getting changed. It says level is a horizontal plane or line surface without inequalities, state of equality, standard, line of direction, an instrument for indicating a horizontal line or plane, a section of canal from one lock to another.
Look at that.
Now that you will not find that in any modern dictionaries anywhere. That's what I put in the description for them, and they obviously it's wrong for them.
That's level as in level.
It's like levels of a parking lot.
That's level as in level.
So they just separated the horizontal and level there, did they?
It also says equal to something else in importance, which is a factor.
Can you see curved or bent or
anything like that. Wibbly
You know what a canal lock
wobbly.
is, right, Beth? You know what that is, right?
A canal lock.
Yeah, when they say from one lock to another, you know what they mean by that, right?
Of course I do.
Okay, and you know that they're at different heights, right?
What the transition of the levels, the horizontal levels of the water in between.
The vertical, yeah.
Yeah. It's needed, isn't it? Because on your model, you just need to go a little bit further, and you'd eventually.
No, you wouldn't.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but that definition there is a noun, and it's referring to the fact that locks have different vertical levels.
Yeah, I know, and it's level in between.
That's all it says, but okay.
Yeah, like that canal that I've sorted out. It comes from the Mersey, and then it goes up 3 locks, and it's 51 feet at that point. Then it goes for 27 miles before the next lock.
The wrong definition for the level.
The thing is, Beth, when you're presenting this to us, don't forget, from our point of view, the Earth is covered in oceans that are levels of water, in your language, that stretch for thousands and thousands of miles.
Yeah, they called it water level and sea level, didn't they?
All you're
I'll give us that.
doing, well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I'll come back to that. But all you're actually doing is giving us another example of that occurring. But, that's an example of how we use level, as you say, sea level. There's sea level here in the UK, sea level over in the USA.
Yeah.
Our claim, or the mainstream claim, would be that the Earth is curving.
Yeah.
And yet, in both of those places, we refer to a sea level. Of zero elevation.
Mad, isn't it?
It isn't that we're confused. It's that sea level means level to the surface of the sphere. So,
really,
equally distant from the center of the sphere.
Do they keep this information from the general public?
Sea level is, well, no, clearly they don't, because we all use the term, sea level is a commonly used term, and it's commonly proposed that the Earth is spherical. So these are two things that are commonly understood by everyone, or by most people.
Yeah.
At least English-speaking people.
Right, I'll have to stop that there, right? Commonly known by most people, says Gem Panda, of the Discord fame, obviously, known by everyone, one of the most common scholars that are known to man, that it's commonly known that level is curved, right? And not a tool for establishing a horizontal plane, right? When you go and you go to the builders merchants and you go and get a spirit level, you may think it's straight, but I mean, Gem Panda says it's commonly known that it's curved. Commonly. But known by, well, I don't know how common is, but I mean, try asking a few people. Is level horizontal, or is it curved?
Does this level curve?
Yeah. Gem Panda says common. I suggest that not many people would say curve.
Well, the thing is as well, if level curves, then the rate of curve has got to be stated, surely.
You think somebody would know, or somebody would know how to describe a curve. I mean, we all know that and we all know that you can't measure a curve.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you could measure a tilt or a slope or whatever like that if you wanted to. I mean, like, you could possibly come over with something like that. But I mean, it would be stupid to say that a water level has a tilt or a slope between with one end and the other end, or with where the center. Where? It's just safer to say it's horizontal. I'd say, to keep it simple. But Gem Panda says commonly known.
commonly.
Commonly known
Level
to
is
everyone.
horizontal.
And there's no
In the English-speaking world.
and there's no confusion over it.
There's no
Sea
confusion.
level in this case means curving.
Really? Yeah. Add
Can
salt
you
to the water.
Show me where
Maybe.
it says that. Anywhere in the definition of level, please.
Well,
I'll post it again for you.
An actual definition from.
But I'm saying without a definition, this is how it's commonly understood.
It's not
commonly understood
commonly
now.
understood like
Even
that.
without
it's like
a definition.
you are the secret keeper of the word curved level. It's an oxymoron. Nobody thinks that.
Hang on.
Of course they do.
Is the term sea level commonly understood? Is that something that is commonly used by, generally by people?
The word level, yeah, it is.
No, not the word level. Sea level.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Salt water.
No, it's not. Is that
Yes, he says
commonly
yes.
used?
No.
Is that?
He says yes.
Yeah, water level is as well. It's all.
Is
Yeah.
it also commonly understood that the Earth is spherical?
Well, I don't know. That's a,
Yes, you do know.
I know. I don't know that. How do I know? All I see is horizontal water level.
Why just answer the question? He's asking you, do most people in the world believe the Earth is spherical?
I don't know. I don't know what most people believe because I don't get in other people's heads. It's got nothing of my concern.
The whole flat Earth. Hang on. The whole flat Earth
railroaded you so hard, right?
is based on the fact that you believe something different to what the mainstream is.
No, I don't. I
constantly refer to the mainstream. Of course,
Right, it keeps saying that I referred something different to the mainstream, but like I will keep saying that I think level is horizontal. Now,
Horizontal.
I mean, I'm not too sure whether the mainstream version is that level isn't horizontal, but it's just that's all I know, and I can prove it that it is so.
Yeah, and Ruhif has since said level is horizontal.
And many people have stated that level is horizontal. They'll even say it is for a short distance on a water level. So, I mean, you'll not get much pushback other than the fact that you don't really understand what's going on. Yeah.
Ludicrous.
Grown men talking about straight lines and level being curved, and it has to be because they've got a model with no proof, no words. They don't need definitions. They don't need anything. Just a common knowledge. In fact, we've got that as one of the axioms, haven't we? Wonder whether we could find that. The axioms of Imaginometry, that you can just state whatever you want without any definitions. Well, all definitions are meaningless. I think that one would apply for what James just said.
Yeah, I mean, you're just avoiding what is inevitable here.
Of course he is. But if he's going to avoid it like that, there's nothing we can
You
do about
guys,
it.
you guys are tricking him. You're tricking him.
No, I'm
We're
not.
not tricking him. We're asking real questions.
He's tricking me.
What he's saying
Veer
is,
away from his point.
no, what he's saying is that the only way that level is ever understood is of a straight horizontal line opposed to another straight horizontal line.
Yes.
And I'm giving him an example of where that's not the case. And he's just avoiding accepting it because he knows full well that it is commonly understood by most people that the Earth is spherical.
There you go.
And he
Axiom
admitted
one.
himself that sea level is a commonly used term.
Yeah,
So
it
these
is.
two things are not in
It's
contradiction.
the datum, isn't it?
That's we understand sea level
Zero
to mean
datum for elevation.
equidistant from the centre of the sphere.
That's what you think. You've just done that in your own head.
Right? Yeah. He's in fantasy, right? He's just gone. Axiom 1. It is a sphere, commonly known as. Lots of people agree with me. Therefore, sea level is curved, right? Well,
it has to be.
No, it's just a datum. It's a vertical datum point established at one point in the UK. And all of the other elevation heights are established from that one reference mark.
what everybody thinks.
Yeah, well, you think that, but
that's what
in reality, that's not what level means, is it?
Well, that is an example of reality where that is what level means.
Where?
The one I just provided. Hold on a minute. The one that I've just provided. It's a term that's used in reality.
Where?
You can't deny it.
You've just said it. That's the only reference you've got to it.
You just admitted that sea level is a commonly used term.
It is, as is water level, and level is used commonly.
And it's commonly understood by the people who use it that the Earth is spherical.
Right, get that. Get that as an argument, right?
What a circular argument.
A sea level is a commonly used term by people. Okay? Right? People use the term sea level. Right? And most people think the Earth is a globe. So therefore, anybody that uses the term sea level must prove that the Earth is a globe. I mean, hey, you're done. Woo! Bam! Bam! There's the radius of the Earth. 3 coplanar points, all that stuff, yeah? People agree with Jem.
Therefore,
Unbelievable.
they use the term level to describe something that curves.
In your head. In your head is the only place that happens.
That is proper circular reasoning.
Commonly accepted, Bev.
Commonly accepted.
Not in my head. That's how they
I've seen it myself many times.
So we've seen it himself.
Here's something that might be able
What,
to
the curve?
help Bev understand.
No, people use that circular reasoning.
Oh, yeah. Every day in gyms.
The shelf are level to each other.
I don't know. Have you got a level on it?
Oh, is this that Chris
What level are you
MCXCM?
And they're both
No, I think this sounds like Highlander,
the
perhaps.
floor to where I put them on the wall, right? So the shelf is level. Yeah.
No, that's not what it means. It's not a distance from the floor. It's a horizontal position. Horizontal, like, doesn't move, does it? A horizontal is one position. If it's not horizontal, it's not horizontal. It's tilted to one side or the other.
Yeah, I look up horizontal now.
The trouble is he's mixing up horizontal and perpendicular.
No, you're mixing up tangents.
Distance, then we can say something is level. So I can say that a slope is level to another slope if it's at the same angle.
No.
Foolish. You are such an idiot.
How many times has he opened his mouth tonight and just come up with utter shite?
Nonsense.
Foolish. No, you can't have a sloped shelf level with another sloped shelf. It doesn't mean parallel. Level and parallel are not the same. Silly man.
Yeah, I can say that a wheel is
No, you can't.
hub if it's equidistant from
No.
the rim to the hub.
You're right. If he can say that a wheel is equidistant from the rim to the hub, I mean, like, all wheels are level in that case. Right? Because they all are central to something, because it's an axle and the wheel is going in a circular motion. Not level. Stupid. But you're using level wrong there, mate.
Bev, you need to let me finish before you jump in, right?
Sorry,
so I've
mate.
made sure that both ends are the same height from the floor. So then I put a spirit level on, and the spirit level tells me that both ends of the shelf are level, right? But that
Both ends?
The actual shape of the shelf itself is flat and straight. I could have a shelf the shape of a banana, but as long as both ends are level to each other, the shelf is level.
No.
But the shelf can be curved.
No.
If a plane maintains the same altitude above the surface of the Earth, it is flying level.
So if both ends of the shelf are at the same point, and the spirit level I put on it tells me it's level, then the shelf is level, irrespective of the shape of the middle of the shelf.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever done anything practical use of a level or anything like that? Like actual, like no, I'm not just saying like if you have an elder level in your hand. I'm asking you, have you ever practically used?
Your last proof was a diagram with two little stick men crying on it.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Ball in ball, as they're called. That wasn't a proof. That was a question to ask you.
Yeah.
We all level. Sign are level to each other, but the middle of the sign is curved. Yeah, but both ends of the sign is level to each other.
So you're going for A then in the diagram. Everybody was saying A was definitely out. It can't rise.
Opposite side of that.
Todd.
Anyway. B is more accurate because of how you drew the men, but they're both Earth.
We drew the men.
More accurate.
Did it more tears?
Good to hear.
Cheers.
I'm amazed that Gem lets them get away with spouting such shit.
And
that's what they all
just saying it.
You hope.
Level and I know what level means doesn't make the Earth flat. You haven't done any experiments.
Experiments? Why do you have to do experiments? What are you talking about?
The Earth's flat, so I can believe you.
I don't like. It's not up to me to prove anything to you.
Okay.
That you have to prove it to yourself. You don't sound convinced of your proofs.
It seems
So
like
who
you wanted
stopped
to
the
when
Steelers
you,
game?
hey, hold on, Josh. It seems like you wanted to when you came in and said you had proofs for us. So
No. I said no.
proofs.
No. I came in just to find out which model you were using so I could carry on and finish my
globe model, dude.
And then you said
Accepted model for 500 years.
Yeah.
You're saying things.
That's the one we're
You're
using.
saying things. So I mean, that seems like you have a point to prove, I guess.
If you don't want us to, if you're not trying to convince us of anything, then you're right. It's fine. You can, are bad for thinking you were.
I accept we have direct observations of Earth showing it's a sphere.
Okay. Space pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're not going to try and compete with any of my proofs then? You'll look at them and then go ha 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 ha.
No, wait, you just said you weren't trying to prove anything to us. Now you are going to try to prove.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if I come back with something, you will you'll look at it and go, right. I won't just say ha ha ha. I'll give you something to counter that, won't you?
If you come back and you say you have something you want, hold on, Joss. If you come back and you say you have something that you want us to look at as a proof, you have something you want us to convince us, then we will engage with it with seriousness.
Okay, so
we don't say ha ha ha.
I've just give you the geometric proof, right?
Well, wait.
I've give you an idea of the geometric proof that I can bring for Euclidean geometry and the water level being horizontal. Can you get your geometry together to show me to counter that?
Yes.
At least. Sweet.
Yes.
And I'll come back with me water level proof and show you that.
And your proof is that the water is level when you look at two different places, so therefore it's level all the way.
Well, yeah, right. It's Euclidean geometry proof. It's like pretty simple, Which it is. It's very simple, the Euclidean geometry proof. But that proof that I've asked them for, the counter proof that show that the water level is not horizontal, has never come. Never by anyone. Just obfuscation, just like we've heard tonight from these people. There's never any counter proof. It's just not horizontal to them, even though it's provably horizontal.
It's always the not something. It's like non-Euclidean. Or it's not horizontal. It's not. Yeah. And you're wrong. But they've got nothing to back up the not.
Yeah, I mean
they tell you it's not, but they don't state what it is.
Yeah, and what they're going to have to come up with soon. I mean, shout out to anyone if they want to come and have a join in. But the proofs are coming, and they are geometric proofs. And once you learn what the geometry and the proofs within the geometry, and how it works, and how the logic builds to give the proof, then
It's pretty much undeniable. Well, to any sane person, but I mean, you've heard what grown men end up doing when faced with level.
Sad.
There couldn't be any variation in between those two places at all, right?
Well, I'm just sort of saying that Euclidean geometry was based on the measurements of the Earth, so it's not hard to recognise that a vertical is a plumb and level is horizontal, because that's how the geometry was made to represent reality.
Why are you talking over like fundamental facts?
He's
Well,
repeating.
If you wanted to drop that plumb bob and you wanted to check the angles on which you had that tangent, right?
What tangent?
They would change as you went further down.
Where did you just pull that tangent from? Are we talking horizontals?
Yeah, that plumb bob that you did all the way down. Like as you went down to the equator.
Plumb bob wouldn't be a tangent. The plumb bob would be a vertical.
It would be
That
a
can't-
the plumb bob, correct. Okay.
What would be a tangent to the plumb bob?
You get what I'm saying? That angle.
No, perpendicular.
Get what I'm saying.
It would move until you got 90 degrees at the equator, and it would move down. And as you went up, it would move up. As you went south, it would move down. So that's kind of weird, isn't it?
I haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
Well, it's called gravity. It pulls everything towards the
Yeah, but that's not what verticals are, though, is it? That's not.
I'm talking about the way a plumb bob behaves. Hold on.
You're not
put
talking
a simple tool.
what he's
You put
talking
a
about.
Merle.
You're bringing in another point
Yeah.
that
Okay,
doesn't
Merle.
relate to what he's
Okay, Merle.
talking about.
Okay,
so
Merle.
stand back. So
You-
stand back then. Because
Take a simple tool.
you're not talking to
like
what
a-
he's talking about.
Yes, he is, Merle.
No,
Just-
he's
you
not.
don't get
He's
it.
talking that the
Merle.
plumb bob
Not
is
doing it.
vertical. The plumb
Merle,
bob
you
is
made
the
me roll out
vertical.
of
Do
bed.
you understand that?
Mel, you've made me roll out of
Correct.
bed.
Do you
Let it
understand
fucking
that? Yes
Let
or
it
Over
no?
your head, Merle.
Jesus
Do
Christ.
you understand that?
Who's
Yes
that,
or no?
Mo?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, yeah,
you,
yeah,
you
he
good,
was-
Merle.
So
Go
do
ahead.
you
was around for a
understand
bit.
I
that?
understand.
Yes
Yes.
or no?
He was a
Merle.
good lad.
Shut the fuck up.
Do you understand that a
Probably
plumb
got
bob
pushed out.
Yes, you
establishes
fucking
vertical? Yes,
Yes.
or no?
Yes, Merle.
Thank you.
Do you understand that if you establish a tangent, that as you diverge in the distance,
Yeah, see,
goes greater or further away?
Merle's just asked you if you understand, and then you've come back with, look, I've got a circle with a tangent.
Perpendicular to that
You
tangent.
brought up
Do
the
this all the
tangent.
time.
Yeah.
No,
You
you're.
understand
You brought
that,
up the
Merle?
tangent.
Vertical.
Christ.
There's an important point here. When you take a measurement with a plumb bob, you're measuring a point.
A vertical.
That I think that
Not
the
that
other
you
guy
guys
who was talking was
don't
trying to make
already
is
know
when
this,
monkey sage,
but-
sorry, when you take multiple.
Go on.
It seems to me that every time that I hear these people explain this, tangent, plumb bob, horizontal fucking argument, it's always, it's never about reality. It's only to do with what the numbers equate to when they are doing an equation, which means if that equation works out on this piece of paper, it has to work somewhere in reality, but they don't go the extra mile to make sure that what they're fucking defending so to the fucking death is true in any way, shape, or form. They're just saying that the numbers are working, so shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, imagine model. Right?
I'm still waiting for one of these baller pricks to come in here and be like, no, I know you and your fucking flat earth bullshit ways. I know you were going to say fucking bring evidence. And guess what? I'm going to be the first motherfucker out of 6 years to bring you actual evidence, which means something to do with the relative reality ground and measurements of any kind. I don't care what they are.
We know they can't. You can only have evidence of reality. You can't show evidence of a model. That's why you have a model.
But bad chances of, like, for example, a satellite guy will say, has he ever? He has said that he's calculated, he's put together all the fucking panels and all that. Is he part of that crew that goes out to the field and lets it fucking go in the sky?
I don't know. We're staying on the ground. We're dealing with straight lines and perpendiculars, and they're misunderstanding.
Saying, like, working with the actual any even with the surveyor, like, have these surveyors gone out and fucking? Are they, because like some hearing is just, oh well, this guy's measured the curvature. Well, this guy's measured the, yeah, but you're not saying you've measured it.
They're not saying anything. These people, they're just saying not level is horizontal. I mean, they're not coming up with anything over there at Gem Pandas. They're just saying your proof and anything that you're going to bring, it won't be any good because it's not Euclidean, it's not horizontal, it's not a straight line, it's not level, it's not horizontal, it's just not that. Whilst they give nothing else in counter to us. So, I mean, like, I say, I've never really been a flat earther, right? I'm not a flat earther. It sounds ridiculous to think that the Earth is a two-dimensional surface. It's obviously not. But the water level is definitely horizontal, and provably so. So, I don't know. I mean, like, they don't come up with anything other than it's not that. And I think it's about time. Turn Up says it's about time they started coming up with something. Even if it's some sort of a geometry or, you know, some sort of an argument, better than just it's not that.
Listen, if there's one thing that I know that is so fucking matter of fact, it's not even funny, is that if this shit, if any shit was a lie in any fucking way, shape, or form, guess what? It's got a time limit. Eventually, it's gonna be found out. You can't. You've stumbled for 500 years. You don't think that in that 500 years you're gonna leave a couple of fucking breadcrumbs?
It's only Dawn that said 500 years. I think I've heard somebody say 200 and something years, and I mean there has been people that say 100 years.
Well, surely, what's his name? Drawing lines in the sand with his sticks and a well. He proved it, apparently. How long ago was that?
Well, that was, I don't know.
That was a long
years.
Time.
Who knows
in a galaxy
when they made it up.
far, far away, yeah. When was that story concocted?
That story from far, far away and shit?
Yeah.
That comes from Star Wars.
Right. That'd be George Lucas.
Yeah, George Lucas.
Yeah, and the relationship between them, when we actually combine those observations together, is that we have about 1 degree per 70 miles change.
Okay, so verticals aren't parallel. You have a different geometry because Euclidean geometry.
On a sphere, would verticals be parallel?
But that's not what we're talking about, is it?
I am. I'm
right. Okay. In reality, a vertical is a vertical. It is not a radius.
In what reality?
What reality?
How many realities do you live in, Kurt?
There's no such thing as a vertical.
There's no such thing as
on a circle.
Yeah,
we'll go back. I have to listen to that again because okay. In reality, a vertical is a vertical. It is not a radius.
In what reality?
What reality?
Reality, this one.
Relative to a circle, you're incorrect.
No, there's no such thing as a vertical.
There's no such thing as
on a circle.
I can take a point from and I can go 90 degrees perpendicular to that point away from the object.
That's not a vertical, is it?
That is going to be a vertical
No.
when everything is being drawn to the
No,
center.
you're getting confused between shapes and reality.
I disagree with you. If you want to cite something that says I am wrong,
what?
I will read it, and as always, I will say I'm wrong if that citation is actually demonstrated.
I think the problem you're doing, and what a lot of you do, is you take reality model and then imagine the curve and the model that you have, and then stand on a big circle.
This is about geodetic surveying and measurements, so I disagree with your point.
Okay. Do you know geodetic surveying and when they take into effect? You know, when do they come in? When do they work?
Geodetic surveying, generally when we've got large areas to map.
Right. How large? Do you know?
Over 27, 28 miles square, something like that.
Yeah, like some people say 250 kilometers area. Well, I don't know what that means. And then other people say it's 100 square miles before geodetic surveyors.
I've never seen a hard and fast rule for that. Okay. It may be a convention when they employ it.
So until the geodetic surveyors come in, you know the other surveyors that work.
I chose 27 miles as I know that you can tell half a degree difference. The tolerance is good enough to do half a degree.
Half a degree. Half a degree of what? I mean, you hear this all the time, don't you? Half a degree, you know, like half a degree over 27 miles. What, horizontal is, I don't know. Like, what you hear, and you will hear very often, is this magic angle. You can state an angle. It's like a magic trick. Half a degree. What does that mean? It's an angle. Well, what's that angle mean? What does a half a degree mean to anyone? You're talking about a straight line, a horizontal. What's a degree measurement of that mean? What literally? It means, one, if you're taken in by it, it means you've just been fooled by a trickster, magician, a wizard. And if you're using it, then it means that you've also been tricked by a wizard into thinking that it actually means something. It doesn't mean anything. It just means you've just sprouted out an angle. Because what is the angle to a horizontal? Well, the horizontal is the baseline that you use your angle. You make your angle from. There's no half a degree anything anywhere.
That about the other surveyors?
He's mad.
What about the fact that there is geodetic surveying and the need to do it?
Do you know how the other surveyors work?
Why does it
Yeah, I
become
want to
necessary?
hone in on that point.
Yeah.
Why does it become necessary? Hone in on that point.
Well, because, like, I'm just asking if you know how the other surveyors that work before your geodetic surveyors come in.
Why do they need to?
Well, because
if planar surveying is fine for the entirety of the Earth, it's just fine.
Yeah.
Why is there any need for geodetic surveying?
Because you have to, you guys have to believe that there's somebody there that can measure a curvature. If there were only normal planar surveyors around, it would become really apparent to you guys, wouldn't it? That you've got nothing to go to.
It's a
You
conspiracy.
can't take local planar surveys and stitch them together to form a representation of the Earth.
No curvature is calculated in planar surveying.
You don't even understand what's going on here.
What do you mean?
If you just take a bunch of local surveys and try to put them together, they're not going to go.
They're like flat maps, aren't they? That's what you do. You put a load of flat maps together.
Larger errors over larger areas.
Well, they work fine over the UK.
Like a patchwork quilt or a checkerboard or something like that.
Just a load of flat maps all over the place, and there'd be contour lines on them showing the topography of the land.
Equator. Longitudes converge. Why is that?
I haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
The distance between lines of longitude.
We're talking about normal surveyors that occur under 27 miles. You know how far, how much calculated, how much curvature do you think is uncalculated in that?
You're not going to address reality.
Well, I am addressing reality with the water level by telling you it's horizontal.
They're hiding in your little shell.
Yeah, but you've just said that geodetic surveyors only come in after 27 miles. So before that, would the
after some point
planar survey? Well,
okay. Mine was a kind of a guess based on the fact that I know they can measure a whole degree on a leveler.
But like I say, I've got a 27-mile canal. Okay, I'm just about to point out here that the 27-mile canal, right? If the planar surveyors, and there's no geodetic surveyors come into it, it does say 100 square miles, which is 1 mile by 100 miles. That's 100 square miles. Projects and all of that. But taking into account that he's just said 27 miles, let's give him that, the length of the canal. So from one end to the other, that's planar surveyors. There's no curvature taken into account. Curvature. It's horizontal. There's no curvature. Simple. Done. There should be no argument. They've just agreed there is no curvature because planar surveyors take into account. So I don't know what we've been arguing about. That I say is horizontal water in it.
Call it a 27.
Go on.
There was a young man who... now, what did he say? About a calculation added after the fact.
Yeah. Well, they had to do a day's worth of calculations, didn't they?
$3.5 grand or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that was what McToons made up while that guy that was pretending to be a surveyor was there with him.
That was it. The guy that was pretending to be the surveyor.
Yeah, he didn't actually do... Well, he did say that they have to add calculations after the measurements have been taken. Yeah, to alter... to put a curvature there, but yeah.
So you measure what's there, and then
calculate something to add on at some point. But I mean, I don't know why you add it on, because it wouldn't be needed, would it, to add on?
Well, surely the measurements are accurate in themselves. Otherwise, why would you bother measuring?
Yeah. You need to know your start point and your end point and the midpoint and where you're going and which model you've got. I mean, that's what I was coming in for. You need to know which model you're building your calculations on. The constant drop or the hump. The Kozlowski-Bislin hump or the Kozlowski nutsack drop.
Nutsack drop.
Yeah. I've only got a few minutes left, so we're going to finish this. They're about to kick me out, no doubt. Because that's how long it is. The bit in between locks. Just one stretch of water in between locks for 27 miles. It's nice, isn't it? It was the best example of level water I could find, because if I was trying to measure curvature, that's what you go to, isn't it?
Done. If you can prove it's planar flat, then I'm on your team.
I've just done geometrically. I've already proved it.
No.
Yeah.
You got a lot of presuppositions in there.
What? Planar surveyors use Euclidean geometry. I used Euclidean geometry. I transposed the work that surveyors had used into a Euclidean geometry and to show you...
I'll just wait till you show your proof so we can show how you cocked it all up.
Okay. Well, I've basically tried... Any of you guys that are willing to have a look into the geometry or whatever... You can work on that. Who's the top guy? If you lot have for working geometry and curve? Is it your surveying team? Are we talking main surveyor and Jesse Kozlowski, or like who's your top boys?
Create an argument from authority.
I'm not. I'm just asking you who's the good guys that you have, because I'd like to.
Present your evidence and we can go and research it, and if it has validity.
Okay.
I don't know if he's the main guy, but George Natiuk, he's quite adept at mathematics, and he's done a series of experiments related to the Bethel level experiment where he measured
So
you could look at his video. and
he's the guy for me to show this to then, George.
Find out how this stuff works. Because that's, I mean, ultimately, I don't know why you're not already doing these experiments to try and find this out.
Experiments?
Yeah, the bad for level experiment. Right?
I've been there. Done it. I've been there.
You should do that experiment and find out.
I've been there.
Well, go
done it. We sat in the dinghy with my lad with the camera, with Roxanne. Yeah, we did it.
Okay. You did it already?
Yeah. It's not an experiment, though, is it? It's just sitting there looking at stuff through a camera.
One of the problems I've got is when we do measurements. So if you do things like radar's a really, really interesting one.
Yeah.
Because it's something we use every day. We know it's accurate, etc.
Radar.
And we can measure curvature.
It's like a beepy signal that you get back again. Yeah, that sort of radar.
There are multiple types of radar.
Yeah.
You can do a BP signal reflection back. It's all about reflection. But yeah, so we can actually look at our horizon on a radar. We can actually understand what we can see at sea level.
What does it beep on to come back?
It has a limit that it can reach. So we can look at things like cliffs. We can look at things like mountains. We can look at things like
horizons.
Lighthouses.
Yeah, that's objects in the offing, isn't it? It's not like the horizon because there's nothing to bounce.
You can actually let me finish a point.
And I was just curious as how the horizon, because that's how you opened it, and then you started talking about beepy things bouncing off objects. That's all I was inquiring about. It seemed like you got confused and mixed up.
This is class. That's called a grinding halt ball. It's not moving either.
Call me not for being prepared to have someone talk over me when I'm halfway through a point, and then I forget where I'm going, and it's really painful. And I've already had an interaction today with Branch where he's done that a lot. Not really interesting.
Poor little foolish delusions. Mind, he might just stamp his little fist.
Pound for pound, on every point, you were flanked. He didn't get drawn into your bullshit, and he kept it fundamental and factual and based on reality. Well done, dude. That was fucking epic.
Cheers, dude. Plenty more to come. I'll be coming back later with me proof, maybe later tomorrow or whatever. There you go. That's that done. We've still never heard back from them, never heard any proofs, and that was, like I say, the very, very beginning of the stuff. Now,
that was over a year ago then?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, 6 months, that'd be me 6 months in. When I say 6 months in, it's 6 months in at the deep end with Fight the Flat Earth, obviously forcing me to prove that level is horizontal. I mean, ridiculous thing, but I mean, it's easy once you start. It's easy to prove that things that are true are true. Mm-hmm. Much easier than trying to prove that things that are false are true. Because they can't do it. They never have done it. The best they can do is try and obfuscate and pretend that it's not true.
It's not that.
Yeah.
It's not that, Bev. It's just not that one. It's the other one. I'm not going to tell you what the other one is, but it's just not that one. You know how it works.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think I need to put that out. I can do that out the way. I'll take a few clips out of that to show that the model. I mean, if you're watching that and you've seen that, just take note of the two different models of how a water level would work, and just ask people, what do they think? Because I can guarantee you they will not have thought about how
a water level actually works when comparing it with reality and then reminding them about the model. It does strange things to people. Just that thought, that challenge, the idea that you get asked something that you've never even thought of, and
they can't even sort out a straight line.
Yeah. Yeah. So the things to take from that one, right? A straight line is definitely a straight line, because I mean there will be more coming when you start the two-dimension, three-dimensional argument, all sorts of fancy imaginometry sort of reasons, fight the flat Earth type excuse, get out of. But the fundamentals of a straight line is between the shortest distance between two extreme points, one at each end. Straight line, no curvature.
No curve. And straight line cannot curve.
And in order to have a perpendicular, two straight lines are required. Now, they have to be straight with zero curvature in order to be perpendicular. So that sort of, the perpendicular proves the straight line. And there's no getting around it, because the geometry just doesn't work otherwise. So I do really enjoy the conversations with the ballers, but I mean, you know that they're not going to come with anything. So I personally don't think any of them will ever come to have a chat, to try and have a discussion about Euclidean geometry. Because
I mean, you look at Altissimo. He came for a chat. He was going to come with a rebuttal. That was 6-8 months ago. He's never been back.
No.
Even Foolish Delusions. He came for a chat and he was going to come back with something. He's not been back. It's like they have nothing.
Yeah. Well, like I say, we've done that one, and then we will go over another video, which is Soundley's Bridge, and a few more other encounters, also at Gems. I mean, it's been quite fruitful to go over there and talk to the guys and hear their imaginings about what they think they live on, and go into their safe space and go in and invade it. I mean, I might have to go back again soon.
There's a lesson in obfuscation going over there.
Yeah, you have to go over there with a point though, and that was I might go over there and give them the 7 demonstrable facts and see how they take it, because then we can build some rebuttals around. I think we've got a bit of a triangle thing coming up that no doubt we'll have to go over and have a word with Jem about triangles, because I think he's more confused than everyone.
Yeah.
I think some people have lied to him about what's happened and basic geometry, so yeah, get ready for that one as well.
Yeah, I've just dropped a graphic in the offing text to reiterate what we've been through. Straight lines.
Oh yes, that's the next one on the that's how verticals and horizontals work in reality. I challenge anyone to prove any differently. I mean, the video that we're doing is a rebuttal to Simon Dan, and Simon Dan, I'm quite willing to go through this geometric
it's
proof.
not Simon Dan.
Oh, sorry, Lyman
Keep telling
Scam.
You. Lyman Scam.
Yeah, he's I think I can explain what the builder that he was having a go at was explaining a bit better, but
I don't know whether he'll be willing to hear it. But I mean, there is a conflict within the triangle argument of what people think about triangles, because they have to have different geometries. So, a good luck, guys. Jem, brush up on your triangles for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we'll have to call it a night. That's been a good show, and we'll be
and
doing this.
that was just a straight lines.
Triggernometry 101. That was Triggernometry 1, and we'll see what comes of it. We have got a couple of demonstrations. We've had a couple of ballers round to give us some demos of what they imagine their side of the argument, what they imagine surveyors do. They're not surveyors, but that's what they imagine surveyors would have to do in order to measure the curvature. And it'll be the reason why nobody ever has. So I think I'll play that thing on the way out.
Okay. Is that it? We're wrapping it up, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, good show, guys.
Intro.
So just put the invite out for anybody. If anybody thinks they can, anybody from the bowlers or,
Yeah.
if you think you've got anything,
It should be
then
linked on the
come and
bottom of
see
the
us.
video. Should be anytime, anywhere, Nips. Or
Yeah.
you can come over to the Emmy UK on the level if you want.
Have a discussion. Always open for discussion. Keep it civil.
The links are in the description in the video.
Lovely. Cheers for that.
Right, so I'll play this intro and outro from the videos. I'm quite proud of the little outro, and then I'll close it off after I've done that. All right, so guys, catch you later.
Lovely. Nice one. Cheers.
3 coplanar points.
Yep.
And
See you
bam,
guys.
there's the radius of the Earth.
On the level. The way I phrase it is a monument to the curvature of the Earth. It really is. Level. It really is. Level.
And bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
You twat.
How do we know the Earth is not flat?
We don't. It's flat.
That was that.
Understanding of the world in which you live, then of course the world looks flat. The world looks flat. The world looks flat.
Neil,
Bitch. You twat.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
That's what I do. 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 What I do.
But I don't have much patience for anyone who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society.
My friends, these people are so out of touch with science. You don't need to be a scientist to know that the Earth is round.
they must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
Like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash.